My child, stop everything. This is not a suggestion. It's a summons. I, the Lord your God, am speaking directly to you in this moment. This isn't just another video. It's an emergency broadcast from heaven. I'm not whispering. I'm not waiting. I'm calling you to focus on me right now, without delay. Every second you stay with me in this word, I will shake what has been stagnant, realign what has drifted, and unlock what's been held hostage in your spirit. Don't scroll. Don't pause. Don't think this is for someone else. It's you I'm after. I've wrapped my voice inside this message like fire in a scroll, and I will not let you leave untouched. What I reveal here will answer questions you've buried, break chains you've accepted, and awaken purpose you almost forgot. Watch until the end. Your next step depends on it. Ignore this, and you may miss what eternity wrote with your name on it. My precious one, this is the sound of heaven roaring over your timeline, over your heart, over the exact second your spirit made space for me. I am not waiting until you have more time, until the day feels quieter, until your to-do list is finished. No, child. I am standing inside your moment with divine urgency because something eternal has begun to break open around you. There's a stirring in the realm you cannot see, but it's touching everything you feel. Your thoughts have been racing, your emotions tightening like a knot you can't untangle. But listen, this unrest is not chaos. It is my holy alarm sounding over your destiny, and I will not be silent while the enemy tries to distract you into delay. I'm not asking you to consider me today. I'm not inviting you gently. I'm demanding your attention with the gentleness of mercy, because I see what's pressing in the distance, and I know how quickly it's approaching. This is not about fear, it's about focus. Your name has echoed through the courts of heaven this morning. I summoned angels at your awakening. I shifted the alignment of unseen things while you slept. Why? Because I saw the precise timing of this divine moment forming like a crack in the atmosphere. And I declared over you, now is the moment for awakening. Now is the second where you must lean in with a desperation that silences all noise, all comparison, all hesitation. This is not the season for delayed surrender. This is the hour for immediate response. My child, this is not just about blessing, it's about positioning. What I am about to unlock for you has no margin for casual faith. The next doors are sensitive to your posture. They will not open by accident. They will open only by divine alignment, and that alignment begins with full attention. You've prayed, God, show me what's next, and I've heard you. But before I show you what's next, I must draw you fully into what is now. This moment is holy ground. The breath you're taking right now is a doorway into transformation. Do not miss it. Don't drift. Don't assume you'll feel this same pull tomorrow. I placed eternity inside this interruption, and it is yours, right now, to receive. My precious one, I know how heavy your chest has felt lately, tight with things you couldn't even name. You've tried to explain it to others, but the words slipped through your fingers like mist. You've labeled it anxiety. You've called it stress. You assumed it was just another round of emotional exhaustion from walking too long without answers. But child, listen to me. This is not ordinary pressure. This is not random tension. This is the trembling of eternity leaning in closer than your next breath. Heaven has entered your atmosphere. The vibrations you're sensing in your soul, the unease, the alertness, the sharpness in your spirit. It's not something to push away. It's me. I'm drawing you into awareness because I am aligning you with something that cannot be delayed. You have walked into a moment that has divine fingerprints all over it. You felt like something was shifting but couldn't explain why. You sense the stirring but question your sensitivity. And I say to you now, trust that sense. Trust the divine disruption. This urgency isn't a storm to run from. It's the signal that a supernatural release has begun. What you call pressure, I call prophetic alignment. What you label panic, I call preparation. I've been whispering to your spirit, even when your mind was too tired to process. The unease was never the enemy. It was me shaking loose everything that no longer fits the season I'm taking you into. I will not let you carry yesterday's weight into tomorrow's wonder. I will not allow the residue of past disappointments to dull the edge of your discernment. You've been sensing something coming, but what you didn't know is it's already here. The release is no longer in the distance. It's pressing against the membrane of the moment you're in right now. Let me give you an image, child. Imagine the earth trembling before the breakthrough of new life. Imagine the rumble beneath the soil just before the seed explodes into bloom. That's what's happening in your life. The pressure isn't meant to bury you. It's the final vibration before breakthrough. You've been misreading your symptoms. You thought it was burnout, but it's birthing. What feels like chaos is actually sacred coordination from my throne room. You are seconds away from stepping into a sequence of supernatural alignment, where what didn't move for years will now respond instantly. And I don't say that as poetic comfort. I say that as prophetic confirmation. Every holy tremor in your atmosphere has been set off by my hand. The shaking was never meant to scare you. It was designed to stir you. I needed you aware. I needed your spirit wide open. Because I'm not sending just another blessing. I'm delivering something that touches every timeline of your existence, past, present, and future. You feel this urgency because I've synchronized your spirit with a divine countdown. The heavens are not still. The angels are not silent. You are not waiting for me to begin. I've already begun. You are standing in the first seconds of a divine outpouring, an unlocking so detailed, so personal, so perfectly timed that only the Spirit could orchestrate it. But child, I need your cooperation. I need you awake in the Spirit. I need you to stop mislabeling my voice as anxiety and realize it's not a warning of doom. It's the announcement of destiny. Do not brush off the stirring. Do not medicate the discomfort. It is holy. It is deliberate. It is your alert that heaven is aligning everything for your moment of release. And I refuse to let you miss it. You've reached for distractions, haven't you? Subtle ones. Little scrolls, small conversations, numbing thoughts dressed as harmless indulgence. Not because you're rebellious, but because you're overwhelmed. You don't even realize it. But the weight of the weight has tempted your heart to drift into anything that offers a moment's pause from pressure. And I saw it. I've watched you turn your attention to lesser things, not because you didn't want me, but because you were tired of not hearing me the way you used to. But child, hear me now. This is not the time to drift. This is not the hour for divided attention. This is the moment to come closer than you ever have before. I am drawing you, pulling you with the cords of compassion, whispering in your weariness, disrupting your routine not to punish, but to position. The distractions may look innocent, but they are enemies in disguise. They are well-dressed detours sent to water down your discernment. You can't afford them now. I need you locked in. I need your spirit sharp. What's coming next will require precision, not passive faith. You've grown used to surviving the wilderness, but now I'm calling you into intimacy in the fire. And yes, fire burns, but fire also refines. Come closer, and you will see it's not pain I'm offering. It's presence. You don't need another escape. You need encounter. This moment is not casual. It's holy. You've stood on the edge of my glory before, but I'm calling you to step in, not stand near. You may feel unworthy. You may feel distant. You may wonder if too much time has passed since you last felt me like you used to. But child, my nearness isn't earned by your perfection. It's activated by your permission. If you let me, I will flood your silence with sweetness. I will turn your quiet surrender into a sacred collision. Come closer, not because I demand performance, but because I desire presence. This is not about you impressing me. This is about you encountering me. I miss you, not the cleaned up version of you, but the real one, the trembling one, the one reading this with tears burning at the corners of your eyes. Come closer. The closer you come, the quieter the distractions will become. And I promise, what I reveal in closeness will answer questions you didn't even know how to ask. There's a moment of glory hovering above you like a fragile breath. It cannot be absorbed from a distance. It must be embraced face to face. Come away from the noise. Come away from the show. Come away from the patterns that keep you busy but not broken. I didn't save you to impress me. I saved you to be with me. And now, more than ever, I am inviting you deeper. Will you say yes? Will you turn your attention fully toward me? Not just your eyes, but your thoughts, your fears, your longings. If you come closer now, I promise, child, I'll meet you in ways I've been waiting to unveil since the foundation of time. Because I never wanted distance. I've always wanted your devotion. And now is the moment. My beloved, I've watched you waking up heavy. Not just in your body, but in your breath. The kind of weight that doesn't have a name but lives like a shadow under your ribs. The kind that turns even the smallest decisions into overwhelming demands. I've seen the moments when you pause in the hallway, hand on your chest, trying to convince yourself you're okay. But I know, child, I know you're not okay. And I'm not waiting for you to say it. I already see it. The pressure has built like a silent storm, layer upon layer of expectations, disappointments, unspoken fears, and invisible burdens that have been stacking themselves like bricks across your heart. You've been carrying them as if it's noble. You've been trying to smile through the strain, hoping no one sees the tightness in your spirit. But I see it, and I want you to hear me clearly. This weight was never yours to carry alone. You've assumed it would leave slowly, gradually, little by little, when things finally get better. But child, listen. I am not a God of partial deliverance. I don't offer drips of freedom. I bring floods. I'm not coming to lift a little of your burden so you can manage it better. I'm here to lift the whole thing, completely, instantly, supernaturally. You've begged me to ease it, to lighten it, to help you hold it. But I am not here to help you carry it. I'm here to remove it entirely. The enemy told you that the weight was your portion, that it was just life, just stress, just your cross to bear. But no, child, what you've been carrying is not your cross. It's your clutter. It's the weight of false responsibility, of expectations I never placed on you. It's the burden of trying to prove your worth, defend your timeline, and perform under pressure that I never required. That's not your calling. That's captivity in disguise. And I've come to break it. Do you remember when I said, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest"? That wasn't a metaphor. That wasn't poetry. That was a promise. And I don't speak lightly. I don't waste words. I'm speaking that same promise over you again now. But this time, I'm not just offering rest. I'm enforcing it. You've earned none of this by performance. but you have positioned yourself through surrender. That is what moves me. You're not strong because you've held it together. You're strong because you finally stopped pretending you're not struggling. And that moment, when you finally told the truth in the quiet, that's the moment I move. Even now, my hands are moving in your spirit, not to rearrange the weight, but to rip it off of you. This moment, this breath, is when the heavy leaves. This is the hour of lifting. So inhale again. Yes, breathe deep. Feel what it's like to expand without pressure, to exist without ache. The weight is not your inheritance. Freedom is. Peace is. Joy is it. Let me be the one who carries what your soul was never built to hold. I didn't form you to live in a constant cycle of exhaustion. I formed you to soar. But first, I had to wait for the moment you finally stopped clenching. And you have. So now watch me lift it all. Not in pieces, not over weeks, not slowly, but all at once. Heaven doesn't need time to break chains. Heaven just needs your yes. And now that I have it, everything heavy begins to rise. My precious, let's talk about those tears, the ones that no one ever saw. The ones that came not in public pain, but in private surrender. The ones you cried in the shower, behind closed doors, buried in pillows and whispered into empty spaces. You've wept when you didn't even know what you were weeping for. Not out of weakness, but out of weariness. And I need you to know, none of them were wasted. Not one. Every tear you've ever cried has been recorded. Not in a ledger of pity, but in a treasury of intercession. I didn't just witness your tears, I interpreted them. Every drop carried more than emotion. It carried meaning, intention, and longing you couldn't even articulate. And I have stored them. Yes, and child, I keep them. They are sacred to me. You thought your silence meant I wasn't listening. You assumed my stillness meant I wasn't near. But the truth is more glorious than you realize. I was closer than your breath in those moments. I hovered over your ache like a blanket of glory. I wrapped myself around your loneliness like a shield. You weren't weeping alone, you were weeping with me. Because when your tears hit the floor, they also hit my heart. You may have forgotten how many nights you cried, but I haven't. And now, I'm not just comforting you, I'm answering you. Those tears were not empty. They were liquid prayers. You wept, and I recorded. You groaned, and I responded. You thought nothing was shifting, but I was sending instruction to angels while your head was bowed. I was writing the next chapter while your pillow was soaked. Let me say this clearly, your tears were not a sign of defeat. They were the water that fed the soil of miracles. Do not mistake your crying for collapse. You didn't fall apart. You poured out. And that pouring out has brought you here, to this moment, where the soil you've watered with pain is about to bloom with power. I will not let one drop fall without transformation. I will not waste a single sigh. That's not who I am. I redeem even the tears. Especially the tears. The tears you didn't tell anyone about. The ones that were never shared, never posted, never validated by others. Those are the ones I am answering now in public ways. You cried privately. Now I will comfort publicly. You sowed in tears. Now you will reap in joy. The exchange has already begun. So don't dry your eyes prematurely. Let the tears flow if they must. They are not shameful. They are sacred. I count them like treasure. I interpret them like language. I answer them like prophecy. The world may ignore your crying, but I respond to it like a trumpet. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. I know the stories your tears have told me. I know what broke you and I know how to rebuild you. I know what hurt you, and I know how to heal you. So rest now. Rest in the knowing that nothing has gone unnoticed. Not the tears, not the prayers, not the pain, and certainly not you. Beloved, let me say this clearly. I've never been silent. You thought my absence was the proof of my distance, but I was speaking, louder than thunder, deeper than dreams, clearer than crystal, but your heart was clouded by fatigue. And I don't fault you for that. I saw the exhaustion that blurred your spiritual hearing. I saw the numbness that crept in after too many nights of confusion. I watched how you tried to interpret divine patterns through the lens of pain, and when my voice didn't echo through your expectations, you assumed I wasn't speaking at all. But child, I wasn't silent. I was saturated. I was pouring out instruction in the pauses. I was thundering truth beneath the surface of your stillness. I was writing messages in moments so small, you called them coincidence. But now, the fog is lifting. The weariness is breaking. Your spirit is finally still enough to hear me, not just in comfort but in clarity. I did not speak in riddles to confuse you. I do not tease my children with vague signs and spiritual guesswork. No. When I speak with fire. When I whisper, it carries the weight of worlds. And when I choose to release revelation, it does not come to tickle the ear but to transform the soul. The reason it felt foreign was not because my message changed, but because your atmosphere was saturated in spiritual static. The disappointments were screaming. The doubts were echoing. The distractions had grown so loud that my whisper began to sound like wind instead of word. But listen to me now. The fire is still burning. I didn't stop speaking. You simply stopped noticing because the weight on your heart dulled your reception. But look at you now, reading this, leaning in, heart wide open, spirit stirred again. This is what I was waiting for. Not perfection, not performance, just a posture that says, "Speak, Lord, I'm listening. And now, I will." Child, what I'm about to say will not require translation. I'm not sending mystery, I'm sending mandate. You've asked me, "Lord, just be clear. Just show me plainly." And I am. I will. But know this, with clarity comes responsibility. With fire comes refining. My word doesn't come to simply inspire. It comes to ignite. I will give you direction, but it will challenge every false comfort. I will give you vision, but it will shake loose every idle plan. I will give you clarity, but it will confront everything that was built in fear. Are you ready for that? Because when I speak clearly, nothing stays casual. And I am speaking now, not with clouds, not with symbols, but with sacred urgency. Let the fire speak, child. Let it burn away the residue of every lie. Let it silence the echoes of those who never knew your true calling. Let it awaken you from the inside out. You didn't miss me. You mistook the method. You were looking for thunder, but I came in the trembling. You expected riding in the sky, but I etched truth on the corners of your circumstances. You waited for someone else to confirm it, but I was already confirming it in your chest. Every time your heart beat faster for no reason, every time tears rose for no known cause, every time you stopped mid-task because something holy gripped you. That was me. Speaking, calling, pulling. And now that the weariness has lifted, you'll begin to hear the backlog of heaven's instructions that were always hovering, waiting for your spirit to awaken. I've never been silent. I've only been waiting for your heart to finally hear me as I am. Not distant, not demanding, but deliberate and near. You hear me now, don't you? Then listen close, child. because what I'm about to say will set your direction on fire. My child, you've paused at this word, but now I need more than pause. I need full surrender. You've gone through your day toggling between timelines, questions, voices, and opinions. You've skimmed over sacred moments, hoping something would leap out and rescue you from this restless ache inside. And here I am, not with another post, not with another phrase to file away, but with a holy command: stop everything. I am not making a casual request. This is a divine interruption. I have shut down schedules, disrupted distractions, and even stirred your sleep, not because I want to inconvenience you, but because I must rescue you. You have been moving forward on a path that's no longer aligned with the pressure of my presence. You've carried the weight of wondering if you've missed me, if you're too far behind, if you've delayed too long. But child, I do not operate on shame. I operate in summons. You are not reading this by random chance. This moment is a heavenly orchestration. It is not background noise. It is breaking news from eternity. I am calling you not just to listen, but to lay it all down: your plans, your pace, your panic, your pride. All of it. Because what I'm releasing next is too precise to be received by someone divided in attention. I don't want your spiritual leftovers. I want your full devotion. And I say this not to rebuke you, but to rescue you. You've scrolled and scrolled, and nothing has stuck because what your soul is crying for isn't entertainment. It's encounter. What you need is not more information, it's abortation. And that only comes when you stop. Stop performing. Stop hiding. Stop pretending you're okay. Stop delaying your response. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is now. You keep asking me to move, but I'm asking you to stop. Stop long enough for me to catch you before you fall further into fatigue. Stop long enough for me to wrap my arms around the parts of you that are still breaking. Stop long enough to feel the weight of my presence displace the weight of your worry. You've asked me, why do I still feel empty? And I say to you, because your hands are too full to receive. You filled them with responsibilities, regrets, results, and routines. But what I'm about to place in your life requires room. And I cannot give you more while you're still holding on to what no longer belongs. Stop everything. Let it fall. Let it shatter if it must. I'm not trying to salvage your schedule. I'm trying to resurrect your spirit. This moment is not optional. This message isn't decorative, it's directive. You've crossed the threshold where delay becomes danger, where indecision becomes interference. And so, in love, I say again, stop. This is a divine summons, a spiritual summons that heaven is watching. The angels have already leaned in. The timing has already been appointed. The instructions are already being released. The shift is already in motion. The only thing left is you. Your surrender. Your stillness. Your yes. So stop scrolling. Stop resisting. Stop delaying. And respond. This is not another message. This is your moment. Beloved, the reason you feel that pull in your chest, the sense that something is pressing against the edge of your spirit, is because I've already begun moving. What you thought was on the way is already in the room. But hear me, what's coming next will not announce itself with fireworks. It will not wait for your calendar to clear or your confidence to be perfect. It is moving with speed, power, and precision, and it requires something far more valuable than preparation. It requires your yes. Not a rehearsed yes. Not a cautious, delayed yes wrapped in analysis and second guessing, but a bold, trembling, unfiltered yes from your spirit. The kind that doesn't need full understanding to offer full surrender. The kind of yes that echoes louder in heaven than any shout. Child, this is not a trial run. This is not a prophetic pep talk. This is an alignment alert. The wave has already been released. And whether you ride it or resist it will determine not my love for you, but your position in the manifestation. Your awareness is the currency that unlocks access. That's why the distractions have increased. That's why confusion has crept in like fog at sunrise, because the enemy knows what I'm building is too big to block. So his only strategy now is to blur your awareness. He cannot cancel what I've decreed, but he will try to convince you that the urgency you feel is just emotional noise. But it's not. It's not nerves. It's not overthinking. It's your spirit sensing divine movement, heavenly orchestration, kingdom convergence. I'm releasing blueprints, strategies, divine appointments, doors that don't respond to effort, but only to obedience. You will not enter this next place by talent, connection, or convenience. It will be accessed only through awakened surrender. This is not the hour for partial allegiance. I'm not asking for your Sunday attention or your leftover devotion. I'm requiring your full alignment. Why? Because I am placing you in proximity to promises so specific that any compromise could contaminate them. Your awareness must be sharpened. Your yes must be unshakable. And your surrender must be immediate. There's no room for maybe later. There's no space for once I figure it all out. This moment, child, this very breath, is the window. Don't blink it away. If you want to carry what's next, you must lay down what's now. Not because what you're holding is evil, but because it's insufficient for where I'm taking you. I will not pour new wine into an old wineskin. I will not deposit glory into a soul that's still negotiating with distractions. So here I am asking again for your yes. Not to a list of instructions, not to a guaranteed outcome, but to me. Will you trust me enough to say yes before I show you the full picture? Will you believe that if I've brought you this far, I won't abandon you on the edge of breakthrough? What's coming, beloved, is not just a reward. It's a responsibility, and it requires your awareness, your yes, and your immediate surrender. Not next week. Now, my child, there is something I must tell you, and I need you to hear it as if I were whispering it right into the bones of your being. I have made a way, a divine route, a narrow, sacred passage paved with promise and aligned with purpose. You haven't seen it yet, not because it doesn't exist, but because your eyes have been too occupied with everything else. You've been glancing in every direction, searching for signs, scanning for clarity, craving confirmation from people who cannot see what I designed specifically for your spirit. But let me say this with holy clarity: distraction is not harmless. It is the spiritual anesthesia of this age. It doesn't come to steal violently. It comes to numb quietly. And it's numbed your vision. But no more. I'm waking you up now, because the path I've cleared is opening beneath your very feet. You were never meant to stumble your way through this season. You were never designed to wander in circles, second-guessing every move. I have carved a trail in the unseen, one that your enemies can't detect, one that your past can't follow, and one that fear cannot intercept. But this path, child, is not marked by signs you recognize. It is marked by obedience that unfolds not to the curious but to the committed. And your awareness, your sensitivity, your ability to pull away from the glittering chaos of distraction is what unlocks it. That's why I've been stirring your sleep. That's why familiar things no longer satisfy. That's why even small compromises now feel costly. Because I am recalibrating your internal compass. Because the path I've made is too narrow for divided attention. Do you understand now why the distractions became louder the closer you got to breakthrough? It's because the enemy can't erase the path, so he tries to distort your focus. He wants you to look right and left when I've called you to walk straight. He wants you scrolling when I've been scripting your next chapter. He wants your gaze fixed on lack, on fear, on what others are doing, because if he can keep your eyes scattered, he knows you won't see the step I've placed right in front of you. But no more. I am sharpening your sight. I am calling you back to center. I am saying, with the authority of heaven, look up again. The path is still here. The way is still open. The invitation is still active. You just need to silence the screens, the noise, the mental clutter, and see me. This path doesn't come with spotlights and applause. It comes with a whisper. It comes with peace. It comes with supernatural ease in places that once felt impenetrable. And when you walk it, you'll know it was always waiting for you. Not because you earned it, but because you obeyed. So shut out the noise. Shut off the needless. Turn your full attention back to me, and you will find yourself walking on a road others missed, not because I favored you more, but because you were willing to be undistracted. The path is here, child, right beneath you, and your next step is not complicated. It's simply quiet. Walk with me. My beloved, you've been feeling something pressing down on your soul, haven't you? A sharp sense in your spirit that something is shifting, something is stirring, something is new. But I need you to know, this isn't panic. This isn't fear. This isn't you falling apart under stress. This is not anxiety rising. It's assignment awakening. That trembling in your chest, that weight that's made it hard to exhale, it's not the kind of pressure that breaks. It's the kind that builds. This is precision, not punishment. You are not unraveling. You are aligning. And what feels like discomfort is actually divine design tightening itself around your next move. You've misinterpreted my timing as delay and my silence as distance. But child, I've been working with the accuracy of eternity, and what you're feeling is not something going wrong. It's everything going right, with speed, with sharpness, with surgical precision. You've asked me to move quickly, and now I am. But my speed does not come with chaos. It comes with callings, clear, concentrated, and uncompromising. I've measured this moment down to the second. I've synchronized every soul connected to your breakthrough, and I've sharpened the edges of your destiny so nothing accidental slips through. That pressure in your chest, it's the internal clock of heaven ticking against the walls of your obedience, reminding you, this is the hour. You can't delay. You can't detour. You can't dilute what I'm doing by second-guessing my voice. I prepared you for this. Your waiting wasn't wasted. It was weaving. It was welding. It was forming a faith that can handle the weight of what I'm now releasing. But child, don't confuse the intensity for instability. This is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough, wearing the disguise of discomfort. I did not come to crush you. I came to concentrate you. I'm pulling your vision into focus. I'm turning the volume down on the noise and the volume up on my voice. And the tightening you feel, that's me removing every option that doesn't lead to destiny. I'm closing the escape routes. I'm ending the detours. I'm removing the back doors you kept in place just in case. Why? Because where I'm leading you next demands your full yes. Not your convenient yes. Not your half a yes. But your whole, wholly surrendered, stubborn yes. You don't need to be afraid of the weight you feel. It's not meant to paralyze you. It's here to position you. It's your signal that you've reached a divine intersection. And when heaven tightens, it's not because you're in trouble. It's because you're in transition. This is not pressure. This is precision. This is not stress. This is strategy. This is not confusion. This is calling disguised as discomfort. So don't run from it. Don't medicate it. Don't mute it. Lean into it. Because what I'm carving out of you in this hour will carry glory not just for a season, but for a legacy. Let the pressure speak, and you will see it is me. Child, pause again, and listen. Can you feel it? The hush in the spirit around you. That stillness isn't emptiness. It's not coincidence. It's intentional silence. I've been muting the background noise, quieting the commotion, and allowing a divine stillness to settle into your life, not to confuse you, but to clarify me. You've been listening to so many voices lately, some loud, some subtle. The suggestions of well-meaning people, the commentary of culture, the thoughts that disguise themselves as wisdom but carry the residue of fear. I heard it all, and I've watched how it pulled your attention in 100 directions. So I did something drastic, not to control you, but to call you. I silenced what distracted you, even the things that once comforted you, so that my whisper could finally be heard above the whirlwind. This is what love looks like sometimes. It looks like empty rooms. It sounds like unanswered calls. It feels like distance from the places you used to run for affirmation. But this isn't abandonment. It's alignment. I had to shut down the voices that diluted your discernment. I had to disrupt the noise that kept drowning out my nearness. Because I am too invested in your future to let you be led by the echoes of others. You were made for my voice, not their validation. And so, I quieted the opinions. I unsettled the predictable. I even made familiar things feel foreign, not because they are evil, but because they are excess. I'm retraining your hearing so that when I speak, it doesn't sound like one voice among many. It sounds like the only voice that matters. You keep asking why certain people pulled away, why certain circles shifted, why the music doesn't sound the same, why the messages no longer move you like they used to. And I say to you, because I've been softening the room to spotlight my sound. I've been preparing the atmosphere of your life for the sound of my sovereignty. This next word I'm placing in your spirit is not for public consumption. It's sacred, and sacred things require silence. I'm not revealing this blueprint to the crowd. I'm not publishing it in the marketplace of opinions. I'm giving it to you, and only you. That's why I needed your focus. That's why I needed your attention unfiltered. I've silenced other voices so that when I speak, it will cut through every layer of doubt with holy precision. So child, stop wondering where everyone went. Stop trying to resurrect voices I removed. Stop longing for the noise that once made you feel safe. I'm not calling you back to comfort. I'm calling you into consecration. There's a frequency your spirit was born to hear, and it's mine. And now that the static has settled, now that the commentary has quieted, now that your heart is still, I will speak, not with volume but with weight, not with clamor but with clarity. And you will know it's me because my voice never just informs, it transforms. Listen closely. I've silenced the world so you could finally hear heaven. My child, my precious one, hear me now with all the gravity of heaven in this moment. You cannot afford to delay any longer. The window I've opened for you is not wide in time, it's wide in power. And power windows require prompt response. I know you hesitated. I know the questions have clawed at you. What if I'm wrong? What if I misheard? What if I'm not ready? But I'm telling you now, you don't need more signs. You need more surrender. Obedience delayed is direction distorted. And the longer you linger at the crossroads, the more the dust of doubt gathers on your vision. I don't want your perfection, child. I want your yes without condition. You've been waiting for everything to make sense before you step forward. But that's not how I work. I don't call you into clarity, I call you into trust, and clarity follows in the wake of movement. Think of Abraham. Think of Peter. Think of the disciples who dropped their nets with trembling hands. They didn't have a 5-year plan. They didn't have certainty. They had yes. They had obedience in motion. And that is what I'm requiring from you now. I'm not looking for perfect steps, I'm looking for present surrender. Because each time you delay, your faith weakens, your awareness dims, and your spirit becomes entangled in fear disguised as wisdom. That's why this moment is not optional, it's critical. Delay doesn't just cost you minutes, it costs you momentum. And momentum in the spirit is sacred. You see, child, there are things I've prepared for you that are tied to timing. Not because I am cruel, but because I am precise. I've aligned moments, people, doors, instructions, so delicately, so divinely, that your obedience is the final key to the lock. And when you stall, the weight of the moment begins to sag. You felt that sagging, that internal frustration, that low-grade spiritual fatigue that follows disobedience you didn't even realize you were carrying. That's why I speak now, not to condemn, but to correct your course. You're not too late, but you're dangerously close to stepping outside the zone of supernatural ease. And once you step out of that zone, what should have flowed will start to feel forced. And I don't want that for you. I want you in rhythm, not resistance. And grace, not grind. So child, stop negotiating with what I've already confirmed. Stop waiting for more signs when I've already spoken. You know what I said. You've heard me in your dreams, in your spirit, in those quiet moments when tears welled up for no reason. You knew it was me. And you know what I'm calling you to do. So let your yes rise now. Let your obedience awaken. Don't let this hour slip into history as another missed moment. Let it mark you. Let it move you. Delay no longer. Not one more day. Not one more hour. Obedience now will unlock clarity later. And clarity is not just a gift. It's your weapon in this next season. So move, child. Move with me. You've just heard me say, I'm repositioning your focus because the hour is urgent. And now, child, I invite you to become part of that urgency, not just in your life, but in the lives I'm reaching through you. As you sow into this word, you're not giving to a video. You're igniting a voice, my voice, into places that are desperate for light. This is seed into soil that touches souls. This is oil that fuels the lampstand of my message across the earth. Just as I said in Malachi 3:10, bring the whole tithe and see if I will not open the windows of heaven. So too now, I invite you to trust me in this act of support. If you felt stirred, then this is your moment to respond in faith. Click the super thanks, become a member, or give through the PayPal link below. Don't delay. So now, light the fire. Multiply my word. My child, I need you to understand something urgent, something unseen yet deeply real. You are not waiting on heaven. Heaven is waiting on you. The angels I dispatched on your behalf are not still standing in preparation. They are in motion. They are not sharpening their swords. They've already been released into battle. Even now, they're moving through barriers you thought would never break. They're shifting things in boardrooms and bloodlines, in places you've never set foot. I've sent them like arrows, fast, fierce, and focused, because I don't play games with your destiny. What I promised you has activated a chain reaction in the spirit realm, and nothing can stop it now but your own disbelief. You've been walking around wondering, when, Lord? When will things finally shift? And I say to you, they already have. Just because you haven't seen it in the physical yet doesn't mean it hasn't begun in the spiritual. Faith always precedes visibility. You've prayed, and your prayers reached me like thunder. You've wept, and your tears watered the soil. You surrendered, and that surrender ignited heaven. I didn't just hear you. I dispatched armies. Angels have surrounded you, not just to protect but to push. They are clearing the clutter. They are setting divine appointments. They are fighting wars you'll never have to touch. You think you're waiting. But child, you're not waiting. You're being carried forward by a force you can't even fathom. Understand this. I do not assign angels to passive promises. I assign angels to prophecies in motion. You've crossed that threshold. The waiting season has shifted into the warfare season, and heaven is not taking this lightly. The resistance you felt lately, it's not coincidence. It's confirmation. It's the shaking that always precedes the surge. When angels begin moving, the enemy starts trembling, and that trembling often looks like chaos. But don't be deceived. What feels like opposition is actually the evidence that the tide is turning. The pressure, the pushback, the strange delays, the sudden detours, it's all part of the rearrangement happening in real time. And child, you are not losing ground. You are watching the ground be redrawn beneath your feet. So stand firm. Lift your head. Wipe your eyes. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not outnumbered. The armies of the Lord are in motion, and they are carrying out every decree I've spoken over you. Heaven is moving fast. Don't fall behind in faith. Stay close to my voice. Stay aligned with my instruction. Stay ready, because what's coming next will crawl. It will come like a flood. And when it does, you will look back and see the angels weren't waiting. They were warring. And the victory was always assured. Beloved, I know this hasn't felt like a season of blessing. I know it's been heavy. The days have blurred together with burdens. Your prayers have felt like echoes instead of earthquakes. You've wondered, why this path, Lord? Why this pain? Why now? But hear me clearly, child. This is not punishment. This is not abandonment. This is construction. What I'm doing in you right now couldn't be formed in comfort. There are foundations being laid in your spirit that require pressure, depth, and divine tension. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels slow. But so doesn't mean suck. And pain doesn't mean purposelessness. I am building something in you that will not shake when the world does. And to do that, I had to lead you here, into the wilderness where noise dies and roots go deep. You've asked for elevation, but elevation requires excavation. I don't raise without first removing. I don't crown without first crushing the false comforts that would compete with my glory. You wanted strength, I am giving it. But not the kind that comes from convenience. The strength I'm forming is forged in fire, pressed in isolation, sealed in surrender. You not see how your cries have changed, how your dependence has deepened, how your heart is now more sensitive to my whispers than it ever was before. This isn't you falling apart. This is you falling into form. You are being reformed, reshaped, realigned for a mission much larger than the pain that surrounds you. Do not despise the difficulty. It's the tool in my hand. Look again, child. The very thing you've been begging me to end is the soil where I've hidden your next level. There are revelations I could never have whispered in the noise of your past season. There are strategies I had to wait to release until your spirit could steward the silence. And you are stewarding it well. You think you're failing, but I see you standing. I see you rising even when you feel like collapsing. And every time you choose to show up, when no one sees it, when no one applauds it, when even you don't understand it, I record it in eternity. I'm not wasting 1 second of this process, and neither will you. When this season ends, and yes, it will end, you will carry a depth that can only be born in fire. So hold on, not just with your hands, but with your hope. Cling to me with everything you've got. You're not in the dark, you're in development. And development doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in surrender. It happens in stillness. It happens right here, where you are. Let me build. Let me stretch. Let me strengthen. Because what I'm preparing you for isn't ordinary. It's glorious. And glory never comes cheap. But it will be worth it all. My child, you've carried dreams that felt dormant. You've walked with visions that seemed to vanish into the background of daily survival. There were moments when passion burned like fire in your bones. But then came the delays, the disappointments, the detours that made you question, did I make it up? Was it even God? And I say to you now with authority and tenderness, you did not imagine it. I buried it, not to forget it, but to protect it. What I placed in you, the gifts, the callings, the divine blueprints, was never discarded. It was planted. And like every holy seed, it had to be hidden for a season so it could strengthen in the dark. And now, that season is shifted. The soil is breaking, and what I buried is rising. You thought it died, but it didn't. It was being cultivated. Deep beneath the surface of your routines, I was nurturing what others couldn't see. I was feeding what your logic tried to let go. I was watering what even your own faith struggled to believe in. And now, I say with divine decree, resurrection is here. Not just emotional revival, not just a burst of inspiration, but full-blown activation. You are not being stirred for sentiment. You are being summoned into purpose. And what's emerging will not be weak. It will be wild. It will be weighty. It will be exactly what this moment in history needs, and I trusted you to carry it. Do you know why it had to be hidden for so long? Because premature exposure would have destroyed what I designed to transform. If I had released the fullness of the calling before you were ready, it would have crushed you. If I had let others see it before it matured, they would have mishandled it, or worse, tried to mold it into something smaller. But I am not raising you for small things. I'm raising you for significant shifts. The kind of calling that doesn't beg for applause but breaks chains. The kind that doesn't settle for influence but bursts impact. And for that, child, the seed had to stay hidden. But now, I'm breaking the soil. I'm splitting open the ground of your heart. I'm calling it forth, not in part, but in fullness. So prepare yourself, not with anxiety, but with awe. Because what's about to rise in you has been waiting since the day I first whispered your name into existence. It's not random. It's not delayed. It's on schedule. My schedule. And I don't miss timing. Everything I placed in you is waking up on time, and it will bloom with undeniable glory. Let it come alive. Let it stretch. Let it lead you into places your past said you'd never enter. Because what I buried in you, I'm now bringing back to life. Beloved, your heart has been trembling with fear that everything you built is crumbling. You've watched doors close, watched relationships shift, watched plans dissolve, and you asked me in the quiet hours, "Why, Lord? Why is this falling apart?" But hear me now. What looked like collapse was never chaos. It was coordination. What looked like a breakdown was not my defeat, but my design. I permitted those walls to shake, not to shame you, but to shake loose what would hold you back from higher ground. The dismantling you experienced was not my wrath. It was my rewiring. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. And every broken piece was being repositioned to form the masterpiece that's you, rebuilt in strength, shaped in destiny, aligned for your elevation. You see, my ways are not your ways, and sometimes the greatest miracles come through what appears to be mayhem. Those plans you thought were lifelines, I've been untethering them from your identity. Those relationships you held onto, I've been loosening your grasp, not to abandon your heart, but to open your hands to my better. The loss you cried over, I've been repurposing it. I'm not erasing your memories, I'm reinterpreting them through my glory. Every fragment of what you believed was falling apart will be reassembled into something more resplendent, more resilient, more radiant. You will look back and not recognize the person you thought was losing ground, because you will realize you were gaining dimension. Yet I understand how the pain felt real, how your nights were heavy, how the fear whispered, you lost it all. But child, I say to you, you haven't lost. You're being lifted. I am detaching you from the predictable so I can attach you to the eternal. I am dissolving what's disposable so I can build what's indispensable. The things you thought were falling apart were actually being torn open for my power to stream through. What was once stuck is now shifting. What was stagnant is now stirring. What was pressed down is being lifted. And the elevation I'm ushering you into demands release before receiving. You must let go of what you believed was your security so I can release what has always been your surety. So in this moment, breathe and see. The dismantled walls are not your defeat. They are my rewriting. The shredded blueprint is not your failure. It's my redesign. The scattered pieces are not your ruin. They are my restoration. And when the rebuilding begins, you will stand stronger, steadier, more aligned, more attuned to my voice than ever before. The elevation is coming, not slowly, but with swiftness. Not in pieces, but in power. Watch as what seemed to fall apart becomes the very structure of your new calling. Rise, beloved, into what has always been yours. Your full elevation. Child, lean in. This is what I've carried in my heart for you in these lonely hours. You believed that when doors remained closed, I forgot you. You thought that when seasons delayed, my promises lost their potency. You whispered in the dark, "Did you pass me by? Did you look away?" But beloved, nothing could be further from my heart. You were never overlooked. You were safeguarded. I shielded your calling from exposure before it was ready. I concealed the timing because you needed the maturation, the hidden forming, the protective silence. You see, what you view as delay is actually my divine delay, not of abandonment, but of preservation. You've watched as others were exposed early. Some collapsed under pressure. Some had their purity diluted. Some had their anointing hijacked. I watched it too. And I said within my throne, hold my child back until the structural integrity of their faith is complete. I did not overlook you. I protected you. What looks like a slow walk was really my shielding walk, walking ahead of you, making sure every assignment, every mantle, every moment was safe for release. I deterred your exposure so that when I do release you, The fire will not consume prematurely what was meant to glow in glory. Your positioning was never accidental. It was always intentional. And now, beloved, you are stepping into the asymmetry of my timing, the time when what was hidden becomes manifest, when the protected becomes powerful, when the unseen becomes unstoppable. I removed you from spotlight so you could refine in solitude. I paused the spotlight so that when you walk in the light, it will not be to perform, but to proclaim. You will not appear too soon. You will not carry the weight before you were shaped for it. You were never a late bloomer. You were a carefully cultivated bloom. And now the season of protection is shifting to promotion. The walls that held you in were not walls of exclusion. They were walls of excellence formation. The delays were not my indifference. They were my investment. The silence was not my forgetting. It was my formation in the silence. So stand with confidence. Lift your head. Rejoice in the timing of heaven. Do not fear that you were passed over. Do not feel inferior because of waiting. For in every moment of silence, I murmured over you. In every closed door, I crafted the door that cannot close. In every tear you thought unnoticed, I collected them like jewels. You were never overlooked. You were ordained. You were protected. And now your moment is coming, not because you earned it, but because I did. When that exposure arrives, you will shine unrushed, unshaken, unabashed, because you were never forgotten. You were always destined. My dear one, I see how disoriented you felt, like walking through thick mist with no direction, hands outstretched, searching for something solid to hold. You've navigated by what little light you could muster. You followed the flickers of hope and tried to map out your next steps by the faint, fragmented glimpses. But the fog has been deceiving you. It made you think nothing was shifting, that you were stuck, that you were lost. And that's why I am interrupting. Not subtly, not silently, but with authority. Because the time has come for clarity. I will not let the fog remain unchanged. I will not allow you to wander another hour in spiritual haze. I'm pulling you out of confusion, out of fuzzy faith, out of half-seas. And I'm doing it with a divine interruption so powerful your spirit cannot deny it. You expected me to continue softly, to let the light come gradually. But no, I know you need more than soft. You need suddenness. You need force. You need a pivot so unmistakable that the fog has no defense. I will not steady your steps in the mist. I will clear the atmosphere. I will change the arrangement of things so drastically that the confusion cannot survive. You will wake, and the fog will be gone. The next moment you step into will not feel familiar. It will feel like resurrection. What you thought was delay will rebrand into divine deployment. What you believed was loss will become the launching pad. You will not grope anymore, you will see. You will no longer question the direction. You will know. This interruption isn't just dramatic, it's necessary. It's not just for effect, it's for elevation. You may fear sudden change. You may worry that if the fog lifts too fast, your feet won't be ready for what lies ahead. But I say to you, I've prepared your feet. I prepared the soil under your feet. I've aligned the ground. I've stationed the angels. I've synchronized the timelines. The interruption is not reckless. It's reckoned. The moment I break the fog, every spiritual line I've placed in your life will ignite. Every promise I've ever whispered will activate. The delay you've endured was never stagnation. It was calibration. Now that the moment is here, I will not wait for your full confidence. I will start in your surrender. I will launch you in your humility. I will force the revelation through the veil of hesitation. Because fog cannot contend with the fire of my attention. And your moment is lit. So, child, brace yourself. There will be no advance warnings in the natural. The shift will feel sudden because in the spirit, it is. But you will recognize it instantly, because everything about you will echo, I knew this was him. The alarm will resound in your bones. The fog will recede, and in its place, a new horizon will stretch out before you, bright, clear, compelling. And you will take your first steps, not fumbling in the murk, but walking in the laser of my presence. This is no ordinary movement. It's a divine interruption, and you will never be the same. Beloved child, pause with me in this moment and hear me deeply. Every regret you carry, every mistake you've replayed, every door you believe you crashed through, these are not wounds without purpose. These are words, guys. These are the inscriptions of your resilience. These are the keys to unlocking what I am preparing you to release. You have resented your failures. You've hidden them. You've wished they had never been a part of your story. But I say to you, they were never detours. They were doorkeepers. That which you thought shattered you will one day shine through you. The failures you've tried to erase, I've held in my hand. I've not condemned them. I've consecrated them. They are not your shame. They are your strategy. You feel broken because you believe that perfection was the only acceptable offering. You thought your missteps disqualified you from destiny. But no, I don't commission perfect. I commission repentant. I don't endorse flawless faith. I champion a faith that falls, rises, learns, and lives. The mistakes you're ashamed of will become the pillars of your humility. The regrets you replayed in your mind will be the resonance behind your songs of redemption. The failures you buried deep will be the foundation of your light, so that when people stand before your testimony, they tremble at how far you've come, not because you were flawless, but because you never quit. Do you remember when Paul said, "When I am weak, then I am strong"? 2 Corinthians 12:10. It wasn't spiritual platitude. It was divine principle. Your weaknesses have paved the way for my strength. The cracks in your heart are not liabilities. They are lenses through which my glory will refract. There is power in your vulnerability, authority in your transparency, deliverance in your honesty. What others dismissed, I've been collecting. What you thought disqualified you, I've been staging. I have recorded every tear, every regret, every whisper of despair, and I'm weaving them into a masterpiece of testimony that will shout my name, and it will outshine any failure that ever dared to define you. So reclaim your failures, not to glorify them, but to redeem them. Speak about them, expose them, offer them to me, and watch as they breathe life into others. Do not allow the enemy to minimize your story. The same trials that once silenced you will one day speak loudly through you. Your testimony will not begin in the palace. It will echo from the prison of your past, victorious, unashamed. Let your failures be your credibility. Let your scars be your story. And know this, in the kingdom, nothing is wasted, even the fall, even the shame, even the setback. Every broken place is a place where my grace will flow. The things you thought were failures, hold them close, because they are the keys to your purpose. Beloved child, hear me now in the depths of your being. This moment is not about your strength. This hour is not about pushing harder, doing more, striving with tired hands. I am not summoning you to hustle. I am summoning you to yield. Yield means more than giving up. It means surrendering posture, agenda, control. Yielding is sacred. It's an offering of trust. It's opening what you've clenched, your timings, your plans, your fears, your pride, and letting me have them all. This strive is to fight through fatigue. To yield is to rest in the heart of my will. I'm not asking you to carry the burden. I'm asking you to hand it to me, and then lean into my arms while I carry it for you. You may balk at yielding, thinking it will cost you momentum or make you passive. But child, there's a difference between passivity and prophetic patience. Yielding is not sleep. It's surrender that aligns you to my timing. When I ask you to yield, I'm not asking for defeat. I'm inviting you into my strategy. I'm saying, let me lead. For too long you've tried to advance by your own calculations, pushing through walls, wrestling with outcomes, turning every no into a battle. But in your striving you missed the subtle promptings. You missed the delicate instructions. You traded alignment for ambition. So I now declare, drop the striving. Let your heart melt. Let your hands open. Let your spirit soften. Yield, child, not for my sake, but for yours, so you can walk in my flow rather than flounder in your force. Yielding hurts. It looks like giving up what you're so sure must be yours. It sounds like silence when you want to speak. It feels like waiting when you want to act. But this yielding is not defeat. It's fortification. It's not retreat. It's repositioning. When you yield, the enemy loses his grip. When you pause striving, I can recalibrate your direction. When you surrender, I can breathe my breath into your bones again. And what you'll discover is this: your strength was never meant to drive your life. Your dependence was meant to define it. So yield your assumptions, your pace, your expectations. Yield your fear of being late. Yield your need for certainty. Yield your efforts to control. And in that yielding you will find not loss, but liberation. You will find my presence. You will find my voice. You will find my unfolding plan, not forced, not frantic, but fluid and full of purpose. Yield, beloved. Your breakthrough is not birthed in your strength. It's born from your surrender. My precious one, you've looked back at seasons of confusion, scattered attention, wandering thoughts, and whispered, that was a waste. I was off track. But beloved, I want you to see with my eyes, those distractions were not random noise. They were divine diversion. They were corridors I dislodged, ethers I engineered, so I could lead your heart away from what no longer served you toward what will. What looked like missteps were actually misdirections. What seemed like restlessness was my redirection. You judged those seasons as drifting, but I designed them to redirect your steps. You thought you lost focus, but I was shifting focus. Some distractions felt painful, temptations, interruptions, pauses that frustrated you. But even in the painful diversions, I was guiding. I was stirring your soul away from lesser things to greater things. I was pruning what would slow you down. I was dismantling what would distract you from your destiny. That person you chased after, I diverted you away. That plan you held on to, I redirected your path. That dream you thought was your own, I reimagined it. And every time you felt the pull to look back, I was tugging you forward. Every time you reached for what seemed familiar, I was drawing you toward something new. I did not waste your misdirection. I worked in it. Do not dismiss the detours you regretted. Do not condemn the distractions you blamed on yourself. They were not faults. They were funnels. They were not hindrances, they were hidden highways. They redirected you away from dead ends and toward my appointed end. So when you look at what feels like lost time, see instead the divine design behind it. Realize that your wandering was part of my weaving. Your confusion was part of my calibration. Your setbacks were steering. And the destination I have for you is not where you started, but where every diverted step now leads. Stand now in gratitude for what you once hated. Thank me for the distractions I refused to let you settle into. Because in them, I trained discernment. In them, I taught resilience. In them, I sharpened your spiritual eyesight. And now, as you step forward, you will see how those diversions didn't delay you. They prepared you. The same paths that once felt disordered will now feel ordained. Trust that those detours had purpose. Even now, I am leading you through open roads you never saw before, using the very distractions you resented as markers for my movement. Be amazed at my wisdom. Be confident in my routing. And go forward, not by chance but on course. Beloved, hear me now. This is not a struggle to wrestle. This is not a conquest to force. This is not a promise that demands you bargain. Your breakthrough was never meant to be earned by anguish or strained by striving. I never intended for you to tremble before heaven's door, begging for what I already decreed. No, child, I have authored your breakthrough. I have ordained it. I have prepared it in the secret places. All that remains is for you to receive. The key is not your effort. It's your presence. It is not more hustle. It is deeper surrender. It is not louder prayers. It is softer posture. And your posture must be present, unwavering, available. That's the invitation. Don't chase it. Let it find you. But you must not run. You have spent seasons pressing, pushing, pleading. You've believed that the delay meant denial, that the wait was your fault, that the breakthrough was just out of reach unless you dragged your faith across the finish line. But child, no more. Because now I say, stop striving. Stop chasing. Be still. Be present. Be posture. You do not need to manufacture faith. You do not need to pretend strength. You do not need to micromanage my timing. You simply need to receive me wherever you are. Let me fill your quiet. Let me compose the symphony in your silence. Let me give you the proof. And when you lift your head, the breakthrough will have already landed. You won't need to demand for a miracle. You will simply meet it. Imagine a child waiting beside a door. The parent already carries the gift in hand. The child does not need to push the door or plea through it. The child must simply stand, expectant, open-handed, ready. That is faith, not the force but the stance. And that is what I am calling you to, a stance of expectancy. You may feel weak. You may feel uncertain. You may feel unprepared. But your presence, your posture, is enough. I will meet you there. I will pour out. I will break in. I will heal. I will open. I will restore. But I cannot force something into a heart that is still resisting. The invitation stands. Receive me now. That is your breakthrough. So, beloved, close your eyes. Breathe. Let every striving fade. Let your heart unclench. Let your spirit soften. And wait not in frustration but in faith. Let your soul whisper, "Yes, Lord. I am here." And watch. Because the moment your heart surrenders, the heavens will respond. I don't delay breakthroughs. When the vessel opens, the river flows. You won't need to beg. You won't need to hustle. You won't need to fight. You will simply be present enough, and that will be all I need to pour into you, a breakthrough you will carry for a lifetime. I said you wouldn't have to beg for your breakthrough. You just need to be present to receive it. And right now, I'm giving you a holy opportunity to step into generosity that echoes beyond your own life. This ministry is not noise, it is a trumpet, calling my sons and daughters home. Your giving turns this message into manna, this moment into a movement. When you sow, you extend my hand into places you may never walk, but your faith will. Remember 2 Corinthians 9:10. He who supplies seed to the sower will supply and increase your store and enlarge your harvest of righteousness. You feel the nudge because I placed it there. Act on it. Support the mission by clicking Super Thanks, joining as a member, or using the giving link below. Blessings will chase the obedient. Don't just receive this word, release it into the world. My child, I feel the tremor in your spirit every time you think of that thing, the fear, the loss, the pain, the broken dream that has haunted your nights. You've tried to silence it. You've told yourself it's past. You've hidden it under smiles, distractions, busyness. But I have not forgotten it. I have not ignored it. A thing you thought would define you, it's about to be answered. Not in whispers, not in stalled hints, but with undeniable proof. Something so real that disbelief will tremble at its feet. Something so clear that your heart will have no choice but to worship. Something so powerful that the haunt will be replaced by honor. Oh, how long you've endured its shadows. How many times you asked me, will you ever show me? How many nights you treaded in doubt, wondering if your question was too big, too impossible to answer. But I say to you now, your question has a place in my agenda. I've marked it. I've built toward it. I've begun to align angels, open heavens, shift territories, weave testimonies, all to deliver proof that haunting will lose its voice when my answer arrives. You will not have to convince anyone. You will simply step into what has already been confirmed. The haunting will appear as prelude, and my proof will emerge as proclamation. Don't let your fear talk over this promise. Don't let your memory remind you of every time you felt let down. Don't let every always or not yet drown your faith. Because God does not move with delay when the moment is ready. When I say I will show you, I will. And when I move, the results will not be ambiguous. They will be undeniable. The broken places you've hidden will be exposed in glory. The questions you whispered in darkness will be answered in light. The doubts that attacked your soul will be silenced by demonstration. And you will walk forward, not by sight, but by the weight of what you have seen. You will carry proof with you, proof not only for your heart, but proof to a world that needs to see a God who does what he says. Child, this coming season is not for argument. It's for affirmation. It's not for more preaching to yourself. It's for proof that transforms you from the inside out. That haunting will lose its soundtrack. A question mark will become exclamation. That wood will become a wonder. And when it does, you will stand amazed. Not because you earned every piece, but because you remained in faith when the evidence was silent. And now get ready. Something real is coming. Something visible. Something audible. Something undeniable. The haunting is about to meet its match. And the proof you receive will not fit in your hands. It will live in your heart, in your bed, in your breakthrough, in your story for generations. Beloved, I have breathed breath into your bones, stirred your spirit in the dark, whispered my presence into your soul, even when you thought you were alone. I didn't wake you gently just so you could feel warm. I awakened you because there is a fire in you that has been sleeping, a purpose in you that has been buried, a destiny in you that has been muted. I stirred to awaken. And now that you feel my stirring, now that the embers in your spirit have begun to glow, do not quench them by settling for what feels safe. The stirring is not comfort. It is call. It is my invitation to birth what has been hidden so long that you forgot its name. You might ask, why stir me when I was broken? Why awaken me when I felt weak? And I answer, because I saw what lies beneath the weakness. I saw what you could become. I saw the seeds I planted long ago, the purposes I whispered before you could even articulate them. I stirred not to unsettle you, but to reset you. I stirred so you would no longer define yourself by what seems comfortable or familiar. I stirred so you'd remember that even in your deepest valley, I have always been forming this moment, because the comfort you pursued would have kept you safe. But what I'm about to release is not safe. It is sacred. What I'm birthing through you does not thrive in comfort. It thrives in crucible. So don't resist the stirrings. Don't silence them with doubt. Don't redirect them with lesser pursuits. Walk into them. Lean into them. Let them awaken what's been buried, your gifts, your voice, your destiny. Remember Joseph in the pit. He was buried, not because he was rejected, but because what was planted in him needed darkness to grow roots. The stirring I placed in you is like a root knot in the soil, pressing, pushing, unfolding. It will not be quiet until it breaks through the surface. So when you feel the pressure, don't shrink from it. That pressure is part of the awakening. The stirring is not noisy for nothing. The silence around you is being dismantled by my intention, and what will emerge will not be a lesser version of yourself. It will be you in fullness, unmuffled, unleashed, undeterred. I didn't stir you for comfort. I stirred you for calling. And what's been buried too long will now rise, and the sound of its rising will be heard and felt in places you never expected. So I say to you, align your spirit, open your heart, repair your posture. Let my stirring shape you, not scare you. Lean into the unknown. Trust me when the way is unclear. The stirring in your spirit is my voice saying, arise. And now you must respond, because the comfort you cling to will not carry you into what I'm preparing. Only the stirred, surrendered, awakened heart can walk through the doors I'm opening. So stand, beloved, in the stirring. Let it awaken you, and let that awakening draw you into the next chapter of your miracle. My child, you have lived in places of safety, in routines that felt secure, in familiar patterns that kept you from falling. And I do not despise your seasons of rest, but I see that your comfort zone has become a cage. It has held you smaller than you were designed to be. It has shaped you in limits, framed you in ease, buffered you from transformation. And now I am pulling you from it, not in condemnation, but in commissioning. I'm pulling you from what you've grown used to so I can promote you into what you're created for. The promotion you need isn't outside you. It's inside you, and to release it, you must leave comfort behind. You may tremble at the thought. You may ask, Lord, do I have what it takes? Will you carry me once I step off safe ground? And I say yes. I've not only equipped you, I've gone before you. The route I'm taking you through won't always look inviting. There will be wilderness. There will be uncertainty. There will be God-shaped gaps you must step into without sight. But that is where promotion lives. That is where growth lives. That is where destiny breathes its first. If I kept you in comfort, you'd never learn to walk by faith. You'd never hear me clearly in the quiet. You'd never be tested, refined, shaped. So I am leading you out. I am asking you to go barefoot over unfamiliar ground, knowing that my presence will travel with you. Because promotion often comes disguised as an upheaval of comfort. Think of Moses, leaving kingdoms behind to wander in desert. Think of Abraham, leaving home for promise. Think of David, stepping from pasture into palace. Their promotions demanded departure from comfort. That's how it works in my kingdom. And for you, your promotion will require the same. You must step out. You must surrender familiarity. You must trust more than you cling. You must believe that I am bigger than your fear, that your calling is stronger than the cost. I will not abandon you in the transition. My presence will carry you. My wisdom will guide you. My strength will fill you. And when you emerge on the other side, you will look back and say, that pull, that pain, that drift from comfort was worth every step. Because you didn't just shift places. You shifted identities. You didn't just leave comfort. You walked into calling. So hear me now. I'm pulling you. The invitation is not optional. The call is not casual. You must respond. Don't wait for a sign. Don't wait for permission. You already have permission. You already have provision. You already have my promise. Step now. Let your comfort fall away. Let your faith step in. Walk into what you once only dreamed. Let the promotion begin. Not because you earned it, but because I decreed it. Your purpose is calling you. Oh, beloved, the assignment I placed in your heart is not optional. It is not a side dream. It is not a second-rate aspiration that can wait until later. It is too precious to be postponed. It is a divine deposit, a kingdom calling, a purpose that only you can carry. And I see how the distractions have piled around you. I see how the chaos has screamed for your attention. I see how the voices, your own, others, the enemy, have crowded your mind and attempted to bury that assignment. That's why I am cutting through the noise. Right now. Because the timing is too tight, the stakes are too high, the moment is too sacred for delay. I am piercing through every distraction, silencing every rival, dismantling every detour, so your purpose might rise with clarity and authority. You don't have time for hesitation anymore. You don't have room for what-ifs. You don't have liberty for delaying tactics. Your calling doesn't sit in the backseat waiting for convenience. It's in your chest, pulsing, demanding to be carried. And the reason I'm interrupting you in this moment, through these words, is because I refuse to let the precious be postponed any longer. I refuse to give your destiny to latch you waiting. I refuse to watch your potential slip into someday. I cut through the chaos so you can hear the clarity. I override the noise so you can feel the direction. I sharpen your hearing so you can perceive the pathway. Yes, this interruption may feel abrupt. Yes, it may feel jarring. But beloved, I do not interrupt you to overwhelm you. I interrupt you to align you. When I break through the static of your life, I do it not to scare you but to stir you. I cut through latent distractions to allow the truth I've placed inside you to breathe again. I silence what would dilute your destiny so you can hear my voice above every voice. And in that cleared atmosphere, I will speak what your soul has craved, what's next, what's yours, what's unfolding. The assignment will not wait. The season will not yield. The promise will not stall. This is your clarity moment. This is your pivot point. This is your moment to lean into my voice and watch the assignment be delivered, even through you. So, beloved, be still. Be alert. Be surrendered. Let me slice through the noise in your mind, in your schedule, in your relationships, in your thoughts. Let me pull you out of multitasking so you can monofocus. Let me dismantle the distractions so you can discern the details. Trust me when I disrupt what feels solid. Trust my hand when I uproot what seems safe. Because what I bring next is worth every interruption, every inconvenience, every discomfort. Don't let your assignment be postponed another moment. Let my cutting-edge clarity come in now and step into your calling with courage, faith, and fire. My child, this isn't just another message you're reading. This isn't just spiritual content for you to file or bookmark or forget. This is your word. This is a declaration from heaven, custom-tailored, destiny-laced, personally addressed to your heart, right here, right now. And I need you not to scroll past it. I need you to pause, lean in, breathe in, receive, not skim, not glance, not scroll on. I place this word in your path, this moment, because your spirit needs it. The timing is aligned. The atmosphere is right. And your life is on the verge of a shift that requires your full attention. Do not treat this as ordinary. It is extraordinary because it carries you in it. You have the habit of scrolling through messages, through life, through distractions, as though none of it ever sticks. You've become desensitized to the supernatural interruptions. But this word was not meant for desensitized scroll fingers. This word was meant for exposed hearts, for kneeling knees, for surrendered spirits. This word is Zion over your circumstance. This word is chain breaking, not chain binding. This word is life, not further away. This word is my voice. So don't scroll past it. Stop. Gaze. Immerse. Let it soak. Let it resonate. Let it become the turning point in your soul. Let it write itself into your spirit. Because this is not another viral saying. It is your word from heaven. You may be tempted to move on, to rationalize, to dismiss, to come back later. But I say, no. Later is too late. This moment is too important. Your breakthrough is waiting here. The next word you hear, the next shift you need, could hinge on whether you stayed or scrolled. You've waited too long. You wandered too far. You've tolerated too many delays. And I am not sending this word to fill time. I am sending it to fill destiny. So anchor your eyes. Lock your spirit. Let your heart say, here I am. Receive me. Receive my voice, my activation, my promise. Let this word be the pivot that rewrites your tomorrow. Yes, this is your word. This is not generic. This is not optional. This is not one among many. This is yours. And when you let it land inside, you'll never be the same. So stay here. Don't scroll. Don't pause halfway. Don't let distraction dim it. Let this word consume you. Let this word align you. Let this word release in you what has been waiting. And when you rise, you will rise not by your own strength, but by the force of this word spoken over you. Beloved, the chapter you've been living in has felt heavy. The pages have dripped with tears. The margins have smudged with doubts. You've been caught in the weight of what felt like endings rather than beginnings. But hear me now. I'm not finished. I haven't closed the book. I'm not just turning a page, I'm flipping the page. I'm ushering you into a new season, a new narrative, a new structure of divine encounter and unprecedented purpose. But to enter this new chapter, to read with me what I'm about to write, I need you to be still. I need your heart to hush its chatter. I need your spirit to align and quiet before I flood it with vision. You might resist the stillness because you believe movement means progress. You've been trained by the world to equate busyness with blessing. But my greatest movements often begin in the quiet. I'm turning the page, not into more hustle, but into more holiness. Not into louder activity, but into deeper clarity. If you run now, you will miss the script I'm writing. If your heart is noisy, you cannot hear the next word. So I invite you to a posture of presence. Let go of rushing ahead. Come back into pace with me. Let me draw out the stands of purpose I've written over your life, not as performance, but as partnership. The page isn't inert, and what I've written for you next doesn't bend to the loudest voice. It reveals to the quietest ear. You already see the beginning notes of the new page. You sense the shift in the atmosphere. Doors that felt locked are creaking. Strategies you thought dormant are humming. Dreams you'd tucked away are stirring again. But I don't want you to step into the new prematurely in your own strength. I want you to flip the page with me. Walk with me into the unfolding. Read with me what I'm doing behind the scenes. Let me guide your next sentence. Let me divine the plot twists, the divine reversals, the sacred appointments. You do not write this alone, and you do not navigate it alone. So let your heart still. Let your soul quiet. Let me write. And when you step forward, you step not into uncertainty, but into my story. The next chapter is holy. The next page is alive. Read it with me. My precious child, the stirring, the uneasy urgency you've tried to silence is not just internal noise. It's me. It's my voice echoing inside your soul, calling you from misalignment back to your center. I've seen how far you've drifted, how often you've pursued what felt urgent but was not my direction. I've watched how you've chased solace in substitutes and postponed what I've called you to carry. And now there's an alarm sounding, a soul alarm, and I say to you, respond. Come back to center. Return to the place where my presence meets purpose. Come back to alignment. This is your invitation to re-enter my design, my strategy, my unfolding. You've wandered in so many directions. You've stretched yourself thin across multiple desires, trying to carry what was never yours to hold. You've drifted from the platform I placed you on, lured by what seemed easier, safer, more acceptable. But you have felt the distance. You sense the spiritual dizziness that comes when you're off axis. That alarm you feel, don't mute it. Don't push it away with good intentions. It's a signal, a holy break, a divine must-come-back moment. Because what comes next for you cannot be navigated off-center. It cannot be born from fragmented alignment. The next move requires you rooted, planted, steady in my voice, responsive to my strategy. Safety, beloved, is not the absence of danger. It's being in the center of my will. Strategy comes from stillness, not chaos. And supernatural unfolding always follows a repositioning. So in this moment, I'm calling you home, to your center, to where your first love met me, to where your heart heard my voice before the noise, to where your soul delighted in my presence before the pressure. Come back. Align again. Reset your bearings with me. And as you do, you will sense the shift. The doors will begin to open. The favor will re-release. The assignment you drifted from will find its sails again. The unfolding I plan for you will no longer feel distant, but imminent. The alarm in your soul is not a burden. It's a beacon. Respond to it. Return to center. Receive me. Rise in the next season. My beloved, you have come to this word tired, burdened, wondering whether I still see you. You've questioned whether this stir in your spirit is real or just the echo of past hopes fading into disappointment. But hear me, with divine clarity, with heart-implanted urgency, with the authority of one who knows every sorrow, every tear, every longing that has ever haunted your nights. I say to you now, this alarm is me. The shaking in your chest, the urgency in your breath, the tremor in your spirit. It is my voice awakened in you, calling you back to center, pulling you into fullness, pushing you into destiny. Today, my focus is on you. Today, I shift my attention from the masses to this moment, to this you, to this calling. You may ask, why me? Why now? And I respond, because your hour has come. Because the assignment placed in your heart refuses to wait. Because the tapestry I have been weaving in the background is now coming forward into visibility. And you are the thread I need alive, awake, aligned to carry it. The alarm you feel is not a warning. It is a summons. It is invitation, not interruption. It is not fear, it is fire. It is not weakness, it is awakening. And I do not send it to condemn you, but to recenter you, to awaken what has been buried, to relocate what has drifted, to restore what has been stolen. I fix my gaze on you this day, not as one among many, but as my beloved, and I speak this word over you, not for convenience but for destiny. Child, you have wandered into seasons of distraction, compromise, and half-hearted devotion. You have let comfort breathe when I meant to birth courage. You have delayed your yes when I needed firmness. And do you know why I have been quiet? Because I wanted your focus. I wanted your hunger. I wanted your willingness to respond not for what you receive, but for who I am. The alarm you feel now is not my anger. It is my awakening call. I stir your spirit because I long to partner with you in what is coming, a shift so powerful, so precise, so personal, that only a heart fully awakened can carry it. I will not allow distraction to dilute your destiny. I will not permit delay to steal your mandate. Today my eyes rest on you. Today my voice speaks you. You are not incidental. You are instrumental. You are not secondary. You are central. So do not deny the alarm. Do not numb it. Do not escape it. Instead, lean into it. Let it wake you. Let it sharpen you. Let it reposition you. Let it demand the best version of your heart, your alignment, your obedience. This is not the time to linger in the shallow. This is not the day for half measures. This is the moment for full surrender. This is the turning point. Your life is crossing into a realm you have only dared to dream. But to enter it, you must hear me. Not from the crowd. Not from a native. Not from the familiar. But from the voice that always knows you. This alarm is my hand knocking at your inner door. Open it. Invite me. Respond. This moment is not just another message. It is your moment. And I, your Father, am focused on you. Rise. What? Live. In this hour, I bring you from alarm to alignment, from shaking to strength, from ache to assignment. You will not miss it. You will not waste it. Because today, my focus is on you. I told you today, my focus is on you. And now I ask, will you join me in focusing on others? The alarm you feel is not just personal, it's global. It's generational. You're not only a listener, you're a carrier of the word. When you support what I'm doing through this prophetic voice, you become a river of light to the weary, a flame in dark corners of the earth. Isaiah 58:10 says, "If you spend yourselves in behalf of the hungry, your light will rise in the darkness." This is that moment. This is that hunger. Give with fire. Sow with purpose. Click the super thanks, become a member, or open the giving link now. Bless what blesses you. I will multiply it, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Before you leave this moment, I want you to mark it with your mouth. I have spoken to your spirit, stirred the fire within you, and now I'm asking you to respond in faith. Declare it boldly in the comments right now. God, I'm focusing on you today. I hear you. I'm ready. This isn't just a comment. It's a covenant. It's a line drawn in the sand between delay and destiny, between confusion and clarity. Don't scroll away in silence. Speak it, because your declaration activates what I've already begun to unfold in you. And now that your heart has spoken, come closer, my child. I need you to listen to me. Truly listen. The world is shouting for your attention, isn't it? Your phone buzzes with notifications that feel urgent. The news broadcasts fear around the clock, and the list of things you feel you must do today screams inside your head. It is a relentless noise, a constant storm of demands and distractions, and I see how it batters your soul and leaves you feeling exhausted and frayed. But my voice, my beloved, is not in that chaos. My voice is the whisper that you can only hear when you choose to become still. It is the one sound in the universe that does not demand, but invites. It is the one voice that can command the raging sea inside of you to be at peace. I am telling you today that this is an emergency. But do not misunderstand me. This is not the kind of emergency the world recognizes. It is not a natural disaster or a financial collapse. This is a far more personal, far more critical emergency. It is the spiritual danger of you losing your connection to me. It is the slow, subtle drift, the gradual fading of my voice until it becomes just one more sound among the many, and then nothing at all. The greatest tragedy is not a life filled with hardship, but a life lived so disconnected from its source that my child can no longer recognize their father's voice. That is a silence that I cannot bear, and it is a danger I am calling you away from this very moment. You have been looking for me in all the wrong places. You search for my presence in the earthquake of your anxieties, in the frantic rush to solve a problem at work, or in the fire of a heated argument within your family. You think that if a situation is loud and overwhelming, I must surely be there. But I am not the author of your panic. That knot in your stomach as you think about the future, that is not my handiwork. I am not found in the storm of your racing thoughts late at night. I am found in the gentle breeze of a quieted soul. I am the stillness after the wind, the peace after the fire, the whisper that comes when you finally stop trying to figure everything out on your own. I see you. I see how you have been straining to hear me over the constant chaos. You try to pray, but your mind is a crowded marketplace of worries, replaying conversations and rehearsing your fears for tomorrow. You long for my guidance, but you are listening for a shout, and I am speaking in a whisper, waiting for you to draw near. So I am calling you now, my precious one, to step away from it all. This is not a suggestion. It is a loving command for your own survival. Turn off the screen. Let that email wait. Find a quiet corner, close the door, and just be. Cease your striving. Stop running. Just for this moment, let the world spin without you. Pause now. Breathe in my presence. Do you feel it? That is where I am. In the silence you have been avoiding, that is where I have been waiting. The greatest tragedy, the deepest wound to my heart, is when a child I have created and cherished can no longer distinguish my voice from the voice of their own fear or the lies of the enemy. It is a loss that echoes in eternity. I will not let that happen to you. That is why I am speaking so clearly today. Listen now. Put away every other thought. For I am speaking words of life directly to your heart. Words meant to anchor you, to heal you, and to call you back home to the safety and peace of my presence. Listen. My child, look at your hands. I see them, clenched so tightly around the reins of your life. You believe that if you just grip hard enough, plan meticulously enough, and work tirelessly enough, you can steer your life safely through the fog. But you cannot see the path ahead. You plot your course based on what you know today, but you cannot see the hidden cliffs of tomorrow, the unexpected expense, the difficult diagnosis, the relationship that suddenly fractures. You have built your plans on the shifting sands of your own understanding, and your soul is exhausted from the constant effort of holding it all together. I see you late at night, your mind racing, trying to solve tomorrow's problems before the sun has even risen. I feel the tension in your shoulders as you carry the weight of being the provider, the problem solver, the one who has to have all the answers. That crushing pressure you feel, that is the weight of a crown you were never meant to wear. That is the burden of trying to be your own God. And this, my beloved, is an emergency. The emergency is your deeply held belief that your own strength is sufficient. It is the illusion that your control is absolute, when in reality, it is a fragile defense against a world you can never fully predict. You are trying to navigate an ocean in a rowboat, trusting in the strength of your own arms, while I, the creator of the seas, am offering to guide your ship. Today, right now, I am asking you to do the most courageous thing you can possibly do. I want you to open your hands, uncurl your fingers, one by one, and release the illusion of your control to me. Surrender your meticulously crafted plans, your timelines, your expectations of how things should be. Hand over your worries about your children, your fears about your finances, and your anxiety about your future. In releasing your grip, you do not lose control, you exchange it. You trade your frantic, limited, and exhausting efforts for the perfect, peaceful, and omnipotent guidance of the one who holds the entire universe in his hands. Your greatest display of strength is found not in holding on tighter, but in the profound vulnerability of letting go and falling into my arms. Trust me, my child. When you let go, you do not plummet into chaos. You land safely in my everlasting care. Do not be blind, my child, to the reality of the world you cannot see. You feel the effects of it every day. You wonder why your peace is so easily stolen, why a single negative comment can send you spiraling, why you feel a spiritual drain that sleep cannot fix. You attribute it to stress, to a bad day, to your own weakness. But you must understand, there is a war being waged for your heart, for your allegiance, and for your peace. The enemy of your soul is cunning. He rarely announces himself with a thunderous roar. His strategy is far more subtle. He seeks to distract you with trifles until your passion for me grows cold. He will use the pebble of a small annoyance to trip you up. He will whisper words of comparison while you scroll through images of other people's lives. He will amplify the siren of worldly ambition until it drowns out my still, small voice. His goal is to keep you so busy, so worried, so entertained, and so offended that you forget the battle is even happening. And this is the urgency I speak of. It is a call to arms. It is a call to awaken from your slumber and to put on the full armor that I, your commander, provide for you. This is not a metaphor for something you do once. It is a conscious decision you must make every single morning. When you clothe yourself in my truth, you are protected from the lies that say you are not good enough. When you pick up the shield of faith, you are actively choosing to trust my promises, and it becomes your defense against the flaming arrows of doubt and despair. But your greatest weapon, your most powerful shield, is your focus on me. Every moment you deliberately turn your thoughts from your problems to my presence, a decisive victory is won in the heavenlies. Every time you choose worship over worry, you silence the accuser. You are a warrior, my child, but you must never try to fight this battle alone. You are part of my army, and as your commander, I have already walked the field and secured the ultimate victory at the cross. The war is already won. Your battles now are about enforcing that victory in your daily life. So stand firm today. Keep your eyes on me, and let my strength be your own. My beloved, I have watched you on your journey. I have seen you walking under the hot sun, your soul parched and your spirit weary, and I have seen you stop at so many wells, hoping to quench your thirst. You have dug wells of career achievement, believing that the next promotion or success would finally satisfy you. You drank from it, and for a moment, it felt refreshing. But the satisfaction faded, and the thirst returned, stronger than before. You have hurried to the well of human approval, lowering your bucket again and again, hoping that the praise and admiration of others would fill the emptiness inside. But that well is fickle. One day it offers sweet water, and the next it is dry or poisoned with criticism. You have spent so much time at the well of material possessions, convinced that the next purchase, the new car, the bigger house, would bring lasting contentment, only to find it brought more worry and left your heart as barren as before. The world promises fulfillment in these things, but it always lies. It offers broken systems that hold no water. And here is the crisis, the spiritual emergency that I must show you. You are in a state of severe spiritual dehydration. Your soul is crying out for something real, for something lasting. You are dying of thirst while standing right beside the one true source of living water. Today, I am calling you to turn away from those empty, broken wells. Stop returning to the sources that have never once satisfied the deepest longings of your heart. I am the fountain that never runs dry. I am the only source that can reach the depths of your soul and bring true, lasting refreshment. The peace you crave, the purpose you seek, the love you ache for, it is all found here, in me. So come. You don't need to clean yourself up first. Come as you are, thirsty and exhausted. Drink deeply of my presence today. Do not just take a polite sip. Immerse yourself in my love. Flood your soul with my word. Saturate your mind with my peace. I promise you, if you drink from me, you will never thirst again. My child, let us speak plainly about the burden you are carrying. You feel it, don't you? It is that heaviness in your spirit, that vague sense of guilt that follows you, the feeling that there is a distance between us. You may try to ignore it or convince yourself it is just fatigue, but it is heavier than that. The burdens you carry are so heavy because they are lined with the lead of hidden transgressions. I am not speaking to you now to shame you, but to set you free. You feel a chasm between us, not because I have moved away from you. My position of love has never changed, but because the sin you are clinging to has created a wall. It blocks the light. It muffles my voice. It hinders the free flow of my grace in your life. The emergency, my precious one, is that this weight is not static, it is active. It is crushing your spirit, day by day. It is the reason your joy is so fleeting and your peace so fragile. It is robbing you of the very life I died to give you. I am calling you to come into my light. I know the thought of that is frightening. You fear that my light will only expose your flaws and bring judgment. But that is the enemy's lie. My light is not a harsh interrogation lamp. It is a cleansing, healing light. My son's blood is not a distant historical event. It is a present power, an ocean of grace sufficient to wash away every single stain, no matter how long it has been there or how dark you believe it to be. You must understand that confession is not for my benefit. I already know. I was there with you in that moment of failure, and my heart broke with yours. Confession is for your benefit. It is the act of you agreeing with me about the reality of the sin, and in doing so, you give me permission to remove it. It is you handing me the key to the prison you have locked yourself inside. So do it now. Lay it down at the foot of the cross. That secret shame, that recurring habit, those bitter words you spoke, name them, release them, and leave them with me. Do not pick them up again. Receive my cleansing forgiveness and walk away in the lightness of a soul set free. My child, we have just stepped onto the holy ground of your healing. To turn away now would pierce my heart, for it would be like watching you choose to live in a prison when I am holding the open door. Stay with me, your complete freedom is closer than you think. Your thoughts, my child, are like a ship tossed on a turbulent sea. One moment, you are lifted by a wave of hope, and the next, you are plunged into a trough of despair by a piece of bad news or a fearful thought about the future. Your mind is constantly battered by fleeting emotions, the anxieties of the day, and the relentless tide of information from the world. You feel mentally exhausted because you are trying to navigate this storm without an anchor. And this is the urgent need for you today. You must ground your mind in truth before it is swept away by deception and dashed against the rocks of fear. My word is that anchor. It does not promise to calm every storm around you, but it promises to hold you fast and secure in the middle of it. The winds of circumstance will still blow, and the waves of trouble will still rise, but with this anchor, you will not be moved. I am calling you to do more than simply read my words in the morning. I am inviting you to let them become the very lens through which you see your entire life. When you look at your financial situation, see it through the lens of my promise to provide. When you look at a strained relationship, see it through the lens of my power to restore. Do not let my promises be mere comforting phrases. Let them be the unshakable reality upon which you build your thoughts. Meditate on them. This means you take one of my promises, like I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind, and you hold it in your thoughts. You chew on it. When fear comes knocking, you answer the door with it truth. You let it be the plank of wood you cling to in the raging sea. Let my scripture be the compass that guides your every thought and decision today. When you do not know which way to turn, open my word. Its direction is never wrong. It always points toward me, toward wisdom, and toward me. An unanchored mind is a playground for the enemy. Anchor your mind in me, my child, and you will find a stability that the world cannot offer and a peace that circumstances can never take away. You are so weary, my child. I see it in the depths of your soul. You are weary from carrying the anxieties of tomorrow, a burden so heavy I never, not for one moment, asked you to bear it. You lie awake at night, your mind a relentless engine, replaying conversations, anticipating conflicts, and calculating every possible negative outcome. You carry the weight of next month's bills before this month is even over. You carry the unspoken tension from your family into your workplace, and you carry the pressures of your job back into your home. A knot of fear tightens in your stomach when you think about the future, about your health, about the choices your loved ones are making. You have come to believe that this state of constant, low-grade anxiety is normal. But I tell you with all the love in my heart, it is not your inheritance. It is a prison, and I hold the key. My peace is not what the world offers. The world's peace is merely the absence of trouble, a fragile quiet that is shattered the moment the phone rings with bad news. My peace is profoundly different. It is not the absence of the storm. It is the certainty of my presence in the storm. It is a deep, foundational calm in your soul that holds steady even when the winds of chaos are howling around you. It is the ability to stand in the midst of uncertainty and know, without a doubt, that your Father is in control. The critical focus for you today, the very heart of this emergency, is to consciously trade your worries for my tranquility. This is not a passive wish. It is an active, deliberate exchange. Cast every single one of your cares upon me. I want you to make this practical. When the fear of failure in your next project rises in your throat, I want you to stop, take a breath, and say, Father, this fear is too heavy for me. I give it to you. When you feel the sting of worry about your child's path, I want you to consciously open your hands and release that worry into my care. You do this because I care for you more deeply, more personally, more passionately than you can possibly comprehend. I am not a distant deity, indifferent to your struggles. Every detail of your life is precious to me. So breathe in my spirit of peace right now, and as you exhale, release the toxins of fear and dread that have been poisoning your system. With every conscious breath, you are participating in a divine exchange. You give me your anxiety, which you cannot handle, and I give you my peace, which the world cannot take away. This peace, my beloved, transcends all your attempts to understand it. It will stand guard over your heart and your mind, protecting you from the relentless assault of worry. Let it be your shield today. My child, your focus has become dangerously narrow. Your eyes have been fixed upon the dust at your feet, the immediate problem, the urgent deadline, the temporary pleasure, the painful offense. You have been living your life with your gaze turned downward, and from that perspective, the pebbles on your path look like mountains. The opinions of others seem to carry the weight of a final judgment. The desire for comfort and ease feels like the ultimate goal of your existence. This is a distorted view, a spiritual myopia that is robbing you of your hope and your purpose. This is why I am speaking to you with such urgency. I am calling you to lift your eyes. Lift them from the temporary troubles that consume your thoughts. Lift them from the fleeting pleasures that can never satisfy your soul. Lift your eyes from the dust and gaze upon the vast, unshakable horizon of eternity. The real emergency is this: you are trading eternal rewards for temporary comforts. You are investing all your emotional energy into things that will burn away like straw in a fire. You are more concerned with building a comfortable life on earth than with allowing me to build an eternal character within you. You are chasing the fleeting applause of man while neglecting the eternal "well done, good and faithful servant" that I long to speak to you. You must understand this present struggle you are enduring, the financial pressure, the relational conflict, the personal failure. I do not take it lightly, but from my perspective, it is a light and momentary affliction when compared to the weight of eternal glory that it is producing in you. When you begin to see your life through my eyes, your perspective will be revolutionized. Your mountains of worry will shrink into molehills of opportunity. That painful rejection will become a chance to find your worth solely in my unchanging love. That season of financial lack will become the stage for you to witness my miraculous provision. That frustrating delay will become a classroom for patience. Do not live today for the fleeting approval of those around you. Live for an audience of one. In every decision, in every conversation, in every task, let this be your guide. Will this matter in eternity? Is this building something that will last? When you live with your eyes fixed on the eternal horizon, the storms of this life may still rage, but they will lose their power to terrify you, for you will know that you are simply passing through on your way to an eternal home where I am waiting for you. My child, we must talk about worship. You have been faithful in your attendance. You have learned the words to the songs. You have stood when others stand and sat when others sit. You have gone through the motions of worship, but your heart, my beloved, has often been a million miles away, consumed by your to-do list, replaying a painful conversation, or worrying about the week ahead. You have mistaken routine and ritual for the authentic, heart-transforming worship I truly desire from you. Let me be clear. Worship is not merely a song you sing for a few minutes on a Sunday morning. True worship is the posture of a heart completely and utterly surrendered to me. It is the conscious decision to declare my goodness in the middle of your pain. It is kneeling by your bed in the darkness of the early morning when no one is watching and whispering my name in adoration. It is taking your work, your talents, your relationships, your very breath, and offering it all back to me as a testament to my supreme worth. The urgent call for you today is to move beyond the shallow waters of emotion and into the deep ocean of reverent adoration. While worship can and should involve your feelings, it is not dependent on them. True worship begins when you choose to praise me even when you don't feel like it. This is where its power is unleashed. I want you to try this today. When you feel overwhelmed, stop focusing on your problem and start focusing on my character. Ponder my holiness, my absolute purity and perfection, and the anxieties of this world will seem tainted and small. Meditate on my mercy, the infinite grace I have shown you, and the bitterness you hold against another will begin to dissolve. Dwell on my faithfulness, my perfect track record of keeping my promises, and your fear of the future will be starved of its power. This is why worship is one of your greatest spiritual weapons. The enemy, the accuser of your soul, thrives in an atmosphere of complaint, fear, and self-pity. But he cannot remain in a space filled with authentic praise. Worship silences his lies and reminds both you and the spiritual realm of who is truly on the throne of your life. So let your very life be an act of worship today. Let the way you handle that difficult phone call, the patience you show in traffic, the integrity with which you do your work, all of it, be a song of praise to me. My child, where have you been looking for me? You have been scanning the horizon for a grand miracle, a burning bush, a voice of thunder from the heavens. You have been waiting for a spectacular, undeniable sign that I am with you. And in your search for the miraculous, you have been overlooking me in the mundane. You have been so focused on seeing me part the Red Sea in your life that you have failed to see me providing the daily manna that sustains you. I want to open your eyes today, because I am not a distant God who only shows up for the grand finale. I am Emmanuel, God with you, right here, in the midst of your ordinary life. I was there this morning in the quiet beauty of the sunrise that you almost missed in your rush to start the day. I was present in the unexpected kindness of a stranger who let you into traffic. I was in the strength that flowed into your body, allowing you to get out of bed and face another day, a strength you took for granted. I was in that sudden moment of clarity that helped you solve a problem at work. The emergency, my beloved, is your blindness to my constant, active, and intimate presence in your daily life. This blindness is dangerous because it allows you to believe the lie that you are alone, forgotten, and struggling by yourself. This feeling of abandonment is a phantom, but it feels real to you because your eyes are not trained to see me where I am. I am giving you a command today that will change everything if you obey it. Ask me for eyes to see. Pray this simple prayer: Father, show me where you are in my life today. Then look. Expect to find me. I want you to see my hand at work, not just in the promotions and the good news, but in the trials as well. The difficult person who is forcing you to grow in patience. I am there shaping your character. The closed door that brought such disappointment. I am there, protecting you and redirecting you to a better path. Every single circumstance of your life, the joyful and the painful, is a potential meeting place with me, an opportunity to draw nearer. If you will only look. Stop searching for a distant God. I am here, in this very room, in this very breath. See me, my child, just as I am opening your eyes to see my hand in your daily life. There are millions still walking in spiritual blindness, unaware that I am with them. If you feel a stirring in your heart to help another see me as you are now seeing me, know that is my direct invitation to you. Your giving becomes the oil for a lamp in a dark place, allowing this word to reach a soul lost in the shadows. I now declare over you, he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. For every seed of light you sow on this fertile ground, I will command a harvest of favor to return to you, pressed down and overflowing. This is a divine appointment to become my tangible presence for someone else. Answer the call. Use the super thanks button. Join the membership to become a steady channel of my light, or sow your seed through the link below this video now. Your spiritual eyes are just beginning to open to my constant presence all around you. It would grieve me deeply to see you choose the familiar shadows once more after we have only just begun to walk in the light together. Do not stop listening. Let me show you what else I see in you. Listen to your own heart, my child. Listen to the words you speak to yourself throughout the day. A complaining spirit has quietly taken root, and it has grown into a gray, thorny vine that is choking the life from your joy. It has become a cloud that follows you, casting a shadow of discontent over everything. You receive a blessing, and your first thought is about what might go wrong with it. You accomplish 9 tasks, but you fixate on the one you didn't finish. This spirit of complaint has blocked the sunlight of my grace from warming your soul. You are living in a self-imposed winter, and I am calling you into the spring. Gratitude, my child, is the key. It is the master key that unlocks the storehouses of my joy and contentment that I have already made available to you. You see, a complaining heart is a closed and clenched fist, unable to receive anything more. But a grateful heart is an open hand, ready and able to receive the good gifts I am longing to give you. The pressing need, the urgent discipline for you today, is to consciously and forcefully shift your focus. You must pivot your mind away from what you think you lack and turn it toward the undeniable abundance I have already poured into your life. I want you to make this more than a fleeting thought. I want you to take action. Today, I want you to count your blessings. Get a piece of paper or simply speak them out loud to me. But be specific. Do not just say thank you for my family. Say, thank you for the sound of my child's laughter. Thank you for the way my spouse supports me. Do not just say thank you for my health. Say, thank you for the lungs that just took a breath without my effort. Thank you for the legs that can carry me. Name them, one by one. The roof over your head. The clean water you drink. The friend who sent a text just to check on you. Acknowledge the vast, intricate web of my grace that sustains your every moment. As you do this, you will notice something miraculous happen. A thankful heart has no room for discontentment. It has no space for envy. It cannot entertain bitterness. Gratitude literally displaces the poison. You cannot be genuinely thankful and resentful in the same moment. So let your life become a symphony of thanks today. Let every breath you take be a prayer, acknowledging me as the giver of all good things. This is the path out of the shadows and into the brilliant light of my joy. My child, let us talk about who you are. For so long, you have tried to build your identity on shifting sands, and that is why you feel so unstable. You have built your sense of self on your job title, believing your worth is tied to your productivity and success. When you receive praise, you feel valuable. When you face criticism or failure, you feel worthless. You have built your identity on your role in your family, as a parent, a spouse, a child, and when those roles shift or become difficult, you feel lost, as if a piece of you has been amputated. You have even built an identity on your struggles, seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances, defined by the wounds you have suffered. These are all fragile labels, my child, names written in the dust. A single gust of wind, a company downsizing, a child leaving home, a relationship ending, a season of success fading, can blow them all away, leaving you in a panic, asking the terrifying question, without that, who am I? This is the emergency I must address in you today. The emergency is that you have forgotten who you truly are at the very core of your being. You have forgotten the name I gave you. Your true identity, the only one that can never be taken from you, is this. You are my cherished, redeemed, and beloved child. You must let this truth sink past your ears and into the marrow of your bones. Your worth is not based on what you do, but on whose you are. You are mine. Your performance on any given day does not determine my affection for you. Your successes do not make me love you more, and your failures do not make me love you less. My love for you was eternally settled at the cross, sealed by the blood of my Son. It is an unchangeable, historical, and spiritual fact. Therefore, I command you today to reject the world's flimsy labels. When the voice of failure whispers that you are nothing, you must answer it with the truth. No, I am a child of the Most High God, bought with a price. When the pressure to perform and prove your worth begins to crush you, you must stop, breathe, and remind your own soul, my worth is not in my performance. It is my unchanging position as His child. Clothe yourself in this truth. Let it be the first thing you remember in the morning and the last thing you hold on to at night. Resting in this unshakable identity is the only path to true freedom. It frees you from the exhausting, relentless treadmill of trying to earn the love and approval that I give to you freely and abundantly. Your identity is not a goal to be achieved. It is a gift to be received. Rest in it. My child, we need to address the civil war raging within you. Your heart is a divided kingdom, and it is exhausting you. You have been trying to serve two masters, and it is an impossible task that is tearing your soul apart. You pledge your allegiance to me, your king, but you also keep a secret treaty with the world. You want my peace, but you also desperately crave the world's approval. You desire my righteousness, but you also flirt with the world's fleeting pleasures. You want to trust in my provision, but you still place your ultimate security in your own financial planning. You cannot have it both ways. A heart divided against itself cannot stand. This inner conflict is the source of your constant spiritual turmoil. It is the reason you feel on fire for me one day and ice cold the next. It is why you have no consistent victory over sin and no lasting peace in your circumstances. You are being stretched in two opposite directions, and your spirit is strained to the breaking point. This internal fragmentation is the urgent crisis. You are trying to hold my hand while keeping a firm, white-knuckled grip on the idols you refuse to release. This division makes you spiritually vulnerable. It creates openings for the enemy to whisper lies, to tempt you toward compromise, and to fill you with guilt and confusion. Today is the day of decision. I am calling you to declare your wholehearted, undivided devotion to me, your one true King. This is not a call for you to become perfect overnight. It is a call for you to set the direction of your heart. It is a conscious decision to make me the undisputed, non-negotiable center of your life, from which all other things must flow. I do not want just a piece of your heart, the Sunday morning peace, the when you're in trouble peace. I desire all of it. I am not a tyrant seeking to control you. I am a divine physician seeking to heal you. Only when I have all the fragmented pieces of your heart can I make it whole, unified, strong, and truly peaceful. A partial surrender will only ever yield a partial peace. So choose. Choose this day whom you will serve. Will it be the anxieties and ambitions of a dying world, or will it be me, the author of eternal life? Let your focus become singular and unwavering. Point the compass of your heart directly toward me, and refuse to be swayed. In this decision, you will find a power and a peace you have never known. My child, your fear of lack is a constant, humming anxiety beneath the surface of your days. Your thoughts are consumed with calculations and contingency plans. Will there be enough money to cover the bills? What if I lose my job? What if this client doesn't pay? How will we manage if the car breaks down? This fear has become so familiar that you have accepted it as a part of life. But it is a thief, stealing your peace and blinding you to a foundational truth of who I am. You worry about your needs for tomorrow, forgetting the provider who has miraculously sustained you every single day of your life up to this very moment. Have you ever truly gone without? Have I not always made a way? So I ask you now to stop your frantic calculations and simply look around. Look at the birds of the air. They do not stress and toil, planting seeds or building barns. They do not hold meetings to discuss their financial future. They simply live in the reality of my care, and I feed them, every one of them. Are you not infinitely more valuable to me than a bird? Look at the wildflowers in the field. They do not spin thread or weave cloth, yet they are dressed in a splendor that surpasses that of the wealthiest king. If I take such care to clothe the grass, which is here today and gone tomorrow, will I not much more clothe you, my eternal child? The emergency I am addressing is your fear of lack, because this fear is a direct contradiction to your faith in me. It is a silent declaration that you do not truly believe I am a good father who provides for his children. It questions my character and doubts my promises. I am calling you to shift your focus. Stop looking at the scarcity of your own resources, your bank account, your energy, your connections. They will always seem insufficient. I am commanding you to look away from your empty hands and to look instead at me, your source. My resources are infinite. My storehouses will never be bare. Your greatest need is but a single drop of water in my ocean of abundance. I want you to grasp this. My provision for you is not a last-minute rescue I might perform if you beg hard enough. I have already gone before you. The manna for today's journey was prepared and set in place before your feet even hit the floor this morning. Your job is not to worry it into existence, but to walk forward in faith to receive it. This is why my command is to seek first my kingdom and my righteousness, and all these things you worry about will be added to you. This is the divine order. When you make me your priority, your life aligns with the ceaseless flow of my provision. My child, let us walk together into the quiet, wounded places of your heart. There are rooms inside you that have been locked and barricaded for years, and you have avoided them at all costs. In these rooms lie the deep, unhealed wounds of your past. I see them clearly. The sharp, stinging wound of rejection from someone you love. The raw, gaping wound of betrayal by someone you trusted. The dull, heavy ache of failure that left you feeling ashamed and worthless. You have tried so hard to manage these wounds on your own. You have tried to heal them with time, but time alone does not heal. It often just buries the pain deeper. You have sought to numb them with distractions, with work, with entertainment, with constant busyness, but they are always there, waiting for you in the quiet moments. These efforts are like putting a small bandage on a deep infection. They can never bring the healing you truly need. I am the great physician, the only one who can perform surgery on the soul. The urgent matter is that these unhealed wounds are actively poisoning your present and your future. They are the hidden root of your irrational anxieties. They are why you overreact in certain situations. They are the source of your inability to fully trust others, and even to trust me. They are a lens of pain through which you interpret the world, causing you to assume the worst and to live defensively. They are blocking the full flow of my love both to you and through you. I am inviting you today, with all the tenderness of my heart, to bring your brokenness into my presence. I want you to have the courage to unlock those painful rooms and let me enter. Do not be afraid. My presence is not a harsh light that comes to condemn. It is a warm, healing light that comes to restore. My love is the only balm that can truly mend a shattered heart. Do not hide your scars from me. I see them already. In fact, your scars are the very places where my grace can enter you most deeply and then shine out to the world most brightly. Your greatest testimony will come not from your strengths, but from the places where I have healed your deepest wounds. So allow me, today, to touch those painful memories. It is a process that requires your vulnerable surrender. I will not force the door, but if you will invite me in, I will begin the divine work of true restoration, washing away the infection with my love and speaking my truth into the places where lies have taken root for far too long. I am here, the great physician, with my hands on your deepest wounds. To pull away now would be to leave this sacred work incomplete, a sorrow my loving heart could not bear to witness. Remain in my presence, your full restoration is at hand. My beloved child, your world has become very small. For so long now, your focus has been almost entirely inward. Your prayers are filled with your needs, your thoughts are consumed by your struggles, and your energy is spent on managing your own comfort and security. In a way, you have made your own life the center of your universe. I understand why. The pressures are great and the pain is real. But I did not design you for such a small existence. I created you for a purpose that is far grander than your own self-preservation. I did not create you to be a dead-end reservoir of my love, where blessings flow in but never flow out. I created you to be a dynamic, life-giving channel, a conduit through which my love, grace, and hope could flow to a parched and hurting world. And this reveals a critical emergency. While you are consumed with your own life, a world that I love, a world filled with people I died for, is perishing. While you are wrestling with your anxieties, there is a person in your office who is drowning in loneliness. While you are fretting about your future, there is a family in your neighborhood who does not know where their next meal will come from. While you are nursing your own wounds, there is someone right next to you whose heart is breaking in silence. They need the hope that you carry within you. So I am commanding you today to turn your focus outward. This is the antidote to the poison of self-absorption. Consciously look beyond the borders of your own needs. Who around you needs a tangible touch of my grace today? Who needs a listening ear without judgment? Who needs a word of encouragement? Who needs you to simply see them and acknowledge their existence? You will find, my child, a divine paradox at work. In the act of serving others, you will find that your own problems are suddenly placed in their proper, smaller perspective. As you step into the reality of someone else's pain, your own burdens often feel lighter. As you become the answer to someone else's prayer, your faith in my ability to answer your own prayers is powerfully strengthened. You stop asking, "What about me?" and you start participating in my grand story of redemption. People in your life cannot see me with their physical eyes, but they can see you. You are my chosen method. Be my hands that serve a meal. Be my feet that walk across the room to sit with the lonely. Be my voice that speaks truth and life into a situation filled with despair. Let your life be the evidence of my love that someone else desperately needs to see today. Your purpose is not found in solving all your own problems. It is found in letting me use you in the midst of them. My child, you have prayed. I have heard every word. You have cried out in the night. You have pleaded with me in the light of day. You have poured out the deepest anguish of your heart at my feet. And in return, you have been met with what feels like a profound and deafening silence. In that silence, a terrible fear has begun to take root in your heart. You have started to believe the enemy's most potent lies, that I am absent, that I am angry with you, that your prayers are bouncing off a brass ceiling, or worse, that I simply do not care. You have mistaken my silence for my absence, and it is causing your faith to wither. You must understand me now. My silence is not a rejection. It is not a punishment. Sometimes my silence is a sacred invitation. It is an invitation to a deeper, more resilient, more authentic level of faith. It is easy to trust me when you can hear my voice, when you see the miracles unfolding, when you feel my presence as a tangible warmth. But the faith that truly honors me, the faith that has the strength to move mountains, is the faith that trusts my heart even when it cannot trace my hand. The most pressing need in your spiritual life right now is to learn to trust me in the dark. In this season of quiet, I am doing a work within you that is so deep and foundational that it cannot be rushed. A quick, noisy answer from me now would interrupt this holy process. In the silence, I am cultivating a patience within you that can withstand any delay. I am forging an endurance in your spirit that can outlast any trial. Like a seed that must lie dormant in the cold, dark earth before it can sprout, there is a powerful growth happening within you that you cannot yet see. The roots of your faith are going deeper, searching for me, your living water, even without the reassurance of visible progress. Do not let my silence cause you to doubt my unwavering love. Think of it this way. A loving father can sit in a room with his small child, in complete silence, yet his very presence is a fortress of comfort and security for that child. The child does not mistake the father's silence for abandonment. My child, I am in the room with you. I have not left your side for a single moment. I am closer to you than your own breath. So I command you today with all the love of a father, wait for me. Do not run in a panic. Do not try to force an answer. Continue to trust. Continue to open my word. Continue to speak your heart to me, even if you feel you are speaking into a void. Hold on to the promises I have given you, even when your circumstances scream the opposite. The dawn will break. I promise you, an answer will come at the perfect moment and in the perfect way. And when it does, you will not only receive what you have asked for, but you will have become a person of deep, unshakable, and profound faith, because you learn to trust your Father in the silence. My child, a dangerous lie has taken root in your heart, whispered by the enemy of your soul and reinforced by a world that celebrates radical individualism. The lie is this: that your faith is a private, solitary journey, a personal matter between you and me alone. He has convinced you that you are stronger on your own, that you are safer from being hurt by others if you just keep your distance. He has made you believe that you don't need the messy, complicated, and imperfect community of the church. This is his oldest and most effective strategy. He seeks to isolate a sheep from the flock, because an isolated sheep is an easy and defenseless target. When you are alone, your doubts echo in the chamber of your own mind without challenge. Your fears are amplified without the perspective of a trusted brother or sister. Your weaknesses go unchecked, and you have only your own limited strength to rely on in times of temptation. The emergency I am declaring over your life is your growing disconnection from the body of believers I have placed you in. I see the walls you have built, and I know the reasons. You tell yourself, I'm too busy. You tell me, I've been hurt by people at church before, and I won't risk it again. You reason, I can worship God just as well at home in nature. While there is truth in some of your feelings, you are using them to justify a spiritual isolation that is starving your soul. These walls are not protecting you, they are imprisoning you. You must understand that there is a supernatural strength, a divine encouragement, and a spiritual protection that you can only find when you gather with my people. I have designed you to need them. You desperately need to hear the testimony of someone who has walked through the fire you are in right now and can tell you that I am faithful on the other side. You need the wisdom of an elder who has walked with me for decades. You need the simple, powerful act of a friend laying a hand on your shoulder and praying for you when you have no words left. And just as importantly, my child, they need you. Your story of my faithfulness is the very word of encouragement someone else needs to hear. Your prayer is the one that could bring a breakthrough for another. You are a vital, unique, and irreplaceable part of a body, and a hand cannot say to the eye, I have no need of you. You cannot thrive spiritually when you are severed from the body I have grafted you into. So I command you today, do not forsake the assembly. This is not a casual suggestion. It is a vital order for your health and safety. Take a risk. Step out of your self-imposed isolation. Send that text. Like that phone call. Commit to a group. Offer a word of encouragement instead of waiting to receive one. Reconnect with the messy, imperfect, beautiful, and divinely empowered family of faith. You are, and will always be, stronger together. My child, we must speak of the prison you have built for yourself, brick by bitter brick. In your heart, you are clutching onto unforgiveness and resentment like a prisoner clutching the very chains that bind him. You believe this unforgiveness is a weapon you are wielding against the person who hurt you. You replay their offense in the theater of your mind, again and again, feeling the fresh sting of the wound each time. You rehearse the arguments you wish you had made. You silently sentence them to a lifetime of your anger. You think you are keeping them in a prison of your judgment, but look around, my child. The only person rattling these chains is you. Unforgiveness is a slow-acting poison that you drink every single day, hoping that the other person will die from it. But they have likely moved on, perhaps even unaware of the turmoil that consumes you. The poison only ever harms the one who drinks it. And the urgent crisis, the spiritual emergency, is that this poison is blocking the flow of my grace in your life. It is a dam of bitterness you have constructed, and it prevents my peace, my joy, and my healing from reaching the deepest parts of your heart. It makes you cynical. It hardens your spirit. It hinders your prayers. You cannot live in intimate communion with a God of infinite forgiveness while refusing to forgive. To break free, you must shift your perspective. I want you to remember, right now, the immense, unimaginable debt that I forgave you. Think of the mountain of your own sin, every selfish thought, every act of pride, every word spoken in anger, every time you chose your way over mine. The debt was so great it required the death of my own son to pay it. And I have wiped that entire slate clean. I have canceled your debt in full, forever. From the perspective of that extravagant, unearned grace, how can you then refuse to forgive the much smaller debt someone owes you? You must understand what forgiveness is. It is not a feeling. You may never feel like forgiving them. Forgiveness is a choice. It is an act of your will, empowered by my Spirit. Forgiveness is not saying, what you did was okay. It was not okay. Forgiveness is not necessarily trusting that person again. Trust must be rebuilt and earned. Forgiveness is simply you, the forgiven one, choosing to release the offender from the debt they owe you. It is you canceling their debt, and in doing so, you set yourself free. So I command you today, for the sake of your own soul, to release that person into my hands. Speak their name to me now and say, Father, I choose to forgive them. I hand them, the wound, and my desire for justice over to you. You are not letting them off the hook. You are taking them off your hook and placing them onto mine, and I am the only righteous judge. Do this and feel the chains fall away. My child, I see you trying so hard to navigate the confusing maze of your life. You are standing at a crossroads, faced with a decision, and you are trying to figure out the right path on your own. You make lists of pros and cons. You ask your friends for their opinions, You lie awake at night, analyzing every possibility, consumed with a paralyzing fear of making the wrong choice. You are trying to find your way using your own limited understanding as your only map, and it is filling you with stress and anxiety. But I did not leave you to find your way alone. I did not send you on this earthly journey as an orphan, abandoned to your own devices. When my Son ascended into heaven, He promised He would send a helper, a counselor. I have given you the greatest possible gift for your journey, my own Spirit, the Holy Spirit, who has taken up residence within you. He is your built-in, divine navigator. He is your comforter in sorrow, your advocate when you are accused, and your unerring guide in all of life's decisions. The emergency, my beloved, is that you are ignoring Him. The Creator of the universe has offered you His personal guidance system, and you are leaving it turned off, choosing instead to rely on your own faulty instincts and the conflicting opinions of the world. You are neglecting the very power I have placed inside you to live this life with wisdom, confidence, and peace. You ask, but how do I hear Him? How do I follow Him? It begins with acknowledgement. You must begin to speak to Him as a real person who is with you. Before you walk into that difficult meeting, whisper in your heart, Holy Spirit, guide me. Give me wisdom and the right words. When you are unsure how to handle a situation with your child, ask Him, Holy Spirit, show me how to love them well in this moment. You must then learn to listen. He does not often shout. He leads with gentle nudges. It is a subtle sense of peace that settles over one option. It is a quiet check, a feeling of unease or resistance in your spirit about another path. He will lead you into all truth by making my word come alive to you. He will comfort you by applying the reality of my presence directly to your deepest wounds. He will empower you for every task, giving you a divine strength that goes far beyond your natural abilities. So I am calling you today to consciously, deliberately yield the direction of your life to my Spirit. In every decision, big and small, practice this simple act of surrender. Holy Spirit, I don't know what to do here, but you do. I yield to you. Lead me. Then, have the courage to follow His leading, even when it doesn't make perfect logical sense. This is the path of peace. You have heard my call to be led by my Spirit. Now, I am calling you to empower that same guidance for another soul who is lost and cannot hear His whisper. If my Spirit is prompting your heart even now to be a part of this mission, that is your personal and urgent call to action, your support becomes the very man I will use to feed another seeker, the river of living water that carries this message to a thirsty heart. Do not quench this prompting, for this is a divine appointment. I now declare my promise from Malachi over your life. Test me in this, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out a blessing you cannot contain. Your obedience now will make you a wellspring of my provision. Partner with my Spirit's work across the earth. Give now through Super Thanks, become a member, or use the PayPal link in the description below. You have only just begun to attune your ear to the gentle whisper of my Spirit. It would bring a profound sadness to me to watch you turn back to the world's confusing noise after I have offered you my perfect guidance. Keep listening, the most vital directions are just ahead. My child, you are exhausted from fighting temptation, and you feel like you are losing the war. Let us look at your strategy, because it is flawed, and it is setting you up for failure. When a temptation arises, that old habit, that impure thought, that urge to speak a sharp, critical word, what do? You focus on it. You wrestle with it in your mind. You grit your teeth and try with all your might to resist it, telling yourself, I will not do this. I will not think this. You are fighting a battle of willpower, and you are staring directly at the very thing that is tempting you. This strategy is doomed to fail, my beloved. It is like trying to avoid a pothole by staring only at the pothole. You will inevitably steer right into it. By focusing so intently on the sin you are trying to avoid, you are keeping it at the very center of your attention, which only magnifies its power and allure in your mind. I am calling you today to a radical, urgent shift in your strategy. A solution to overcoming temptation is to look away from the temptation and to look directly at me. The key is not resistance but replacement. You must learn to replace the alluring thought of sin with the far more compelling, beautiful, and satisfying reality of my presence. This is a spiritual law. You cannot fix your gaze on two things at once. When you deliberately fix your gaze on me, the temptation is forced to the periphery, and its power begins to diminish. When you are tempted with a lustful thought, you must turn your mind's eye to my perfect holiness, and the temptation will begin to look like the cheap, dirty thing that it is. When you are tempted to gossip or slander, you must focus on my infinite grace toward you, and the desire to tear another down will lose its appeal. When you are tempted by greed or envy, you must meditate on the riches of your inheritance in me, and the things of this world will grow strangely dim. I have promised in my word that I will always provide a way of escape from temptation. But you must understand that the escape route is always, without exception, toward me. It is not a side exit into a neutral space where you can just distract yourself. The escape is to run directly into my arms. So the next time that familiar temptation comes knocking, do not stand at the door and argue with it. Do not try to fight it on its own terms. I want you to turn your back on it and flee. Run to me in prayer. Flood your mind with a passage from my word. Sing a song of worship out loud. Fill your spiritual atmosphere so completely with me that there is no room left for the temptation to take root. In my presence, you will find your refuge, your strength, and your certain victory. For so long, my child, you have viewed my commands through a distorted lens, seeing them as a list of burdensome restrictions designed to limit your freedom. In your mind, you have pictured me as a stern taskmaster, placing a heavy fence around all the things that look enjoyable, whispering no to your deepest desires. The world has taught you that true freedom is the absolute right to do as you please, to follow every impulse, and to be the sole master of your own choices. This, my beloved, is a profound and ancient deception, first whispered in a garden long ago. You must understand the truth of my heart. My laws are not the arbitrary rules of a distant tyrant. They are the loving, life-giving instructions of a Father who knows you perfectly and desires your ultimate joy. They are the owner's manual for the human soul, written so that you can operate in the way you were designed to flourish. A guardrail on a dangerous mountain pass is not there to restrict the driver's freedom. It is there to protect the driver from a catastrophic fall. A doctor's prescription is not meant to be a burden. It is given to bring health and healing to a sick body. My commands are my guardrails and my prescriptions for your soul. The emergency is this: in your disobedience, in your pursuit of what you believe is freedom, you are actually choosing the well-worn path that leads directly to pain, regret, and a deeper form of bondage. Every time you step outside of my loving boundaries for your life, you are not stepping into freedom, you are stepping into chaos. So I am calling you today to a radical shift in your perspective. I want you to stop focusing on the perceived sacrifice of obedience and start seeing the profound, life-altering joy it brings. See my command to forgive not as a heavy burden, but as the only path to your own freedom from the poison of bitterness. See my command to be generous not as a loss of your resources, but as the key that unlocks a joyful heart, free from the grip of materialism. See my instructions for purity not as a restriction of pleasure, but as the protection of your heart from devastating wounds. True freedom is not the right to do whatever you want. That is the very definition of slavery to your ever-changing appetites and emotions. True freedom is the supernatural power given by my Spirit to do what is right, to choose life, to walk in alignment with your loving Creator. This is why my Son said, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." This is a divine paradox. The world's so-called freedom is an incredibly heavy burden of anxiety, consequence, and emptiness. But my yoke of obedience, when you are walking with me, feels light, because I am the one pulling the weight, guiding you and empowering you. Walk in my ways today, not out of fearful duty, but out of loving trust, and you will find the deep, satisfying rest for your soul that you have been frantically searching for in all the wrong places. My child, you have a tendency to look at your life and believe it is insignificant. You see the daily routine, the private struggles, the imperfections, and the moments of failure, and you conclude that your story is too small, too messy, or too ordinary to be of any real consequence in my kingdom. You compare your quiet, hidden life with the loud, public lives of others, and you feel that you have nothing of value to offer. You have profoundly underestimated the power of your own story when it is intertwined with mine. You must understand that your life is a living letter, a message I am writing to the world. People who would never open a Bible will read your life. They are watching you. They see how you handle pressure at work. They see how you respond when you are treated unfairly. They see how you navigate disappointment and loss. Your life is a sermon preached not just with words on a Sunday, but with your actions, your reactions, and your attitudes every single day of the week. The urgent need, therefore, is for the message of your life to align with the words you speak about me. It is not enough for you to say that I am a God of peace if your life is a constant, frantic display of anxiety. It is not convincing for you to speak of my power to forgive if your own life remains in the bitter grip of an old grudge. The world is not looking for more perfect people. It is looking for authentic people whose lives are being tangibly transformed by the God they claim to serve. I am calling you today to let your focus on me become so evident that others cannot help but see me when they look at you. This does not mean you must pretend to have it all together. On the contrary, your testimony is often most powerful in your very imperfections. When you make a mistake and are quick to humbly apologize, you preach a sermon about repentance. When you face a situation that is beyond your strength and you openly rely on mine, you preach a sermon about faith. When you admit that you don't have all the answers, but you trust the one who does, you preach a sermon about surrender. Your perseverance through that long, difficult trial, that is your sermon. Your inexplicable peace in the middle of a chaotic situation, that is your sermon. The love you show to someone who is difficult or unlovable, that is your most powerful sermon. It is this living evidence that makes people stop, take notice, and wonder about the source of your strength and hope. So live today with the awareness that you are on display. Live in such a way that your very existence points others to me. In your workplace, in your neighborhood, in your own home. Let your character be a signpost that directs weary, lost travelers toward me, their true and eternal home. My child, let us have an honest look at the hours of your days. I have given you time as a precious and finite gift, a treasure of moments, each one brimming with potential. Yet, how many of those moments have been squandered? You have spent countless hours scrolling through a feed of curated lives, feeding a spirit of comparison and discontent. You have invested hours in meaningless entertainment that numbs your mind but does not nourish your soul. You have lost whole evenings to the black hole of worry, replaying fears and anxieties that have no power to change the future. You have given precious minutes to pointless arguments and to dwelling on offenses. These are hours, my child, that are gone forever. You can never get them back. The days are short, and the life I have given you on this earth is but a vapor, a brief moment in the light of eternity. And this brings us to an urgent emergency, the sobering realization that you cannot reclaim the time you have lost to vanity. The past is sealed, but today, this very moment, is a fresh gift from my hand. The urgency is to stop the hemorrhaging of your time and to begin stewarding what you have left with wisdom and purpose. I am calling you today to focus on redeeming the time. This does not mean your life must become a frantic, joyless schedule of constant activity. I am the one who created rest, who designed laughter, who delights in your joy. But it does mean evaluating your use of this precious resource through an eternal lens. It means consciously choosing to invest your moments in things that truly matter, things that will last forever. What does such an investment look like? Every moment you deliberately dedicate to me is an investment in eternity. The 15 minutes you spend in quiet prayer is not a disruption to your schedule. It is the most important investment of your day. The hour you spend reading my word is not a loss of productive time. It is an investment in eternal wisdom. The time you take to serve another person, to listen to their story, to meet their need, is not a distraction from your own goals. It is the very act of storing up treasure in heaven. The time you invest in your family, loving them patiently, teaching them my ways, is an investment in your primary mission field. Let this be your prayer: Father, teach me to number my days that I may gain a heart of wisdom. This is a prayer for perspective. It is a plea for me to give you a constant awareness of the brevity of this life, so that you will not waste it. It is a request to live each day with intention, to make conscious choices about where your moments will go, and to focus on what will matter a million years from now. Stop killing time, my child. It is a gift I have given you. Receive it, and invest it wisely for me. You have made your relationship with me so incredibly complicated, my child. You have allowed your mind, which I gave you as a gift, to become a barrier instead of a bridge to me. You have become entangled in complex theological debates. You have stumbled over intellectual doubts, and you have developed a persistent need for me to explain all of my ways to your logical satisfaction before you will grant me your trust. You have allowed your pride, the pride of needing to understand everything, to stand in the way of the very thing your soul desperately needs: simple, trusting faith. That is why I am calling you today, with great urgency, to return. I am calling you to come back to the profound and powerful trust of a small child who slips their hand into their father's hand without fear or hesitation. The most urgent need in your spiritual life is for you to lay down your intellectual pride and your demand for answers. You must embrace a foundational truth. Your finite mind will never, in this lifetime, fully comprehend the mind of your infinite Creator. My thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your way. Your insistence on having all the answers before you will trust me is the very definition of walking by sight, and I have called you to walk by faith. Think of a small child with a loving father. The child does not understand the complexities of the father's work or the reasons behind every rule of the household. The child does not demand a logical proof of the father's love. The child simply trusts. They trust in the Father's character. They rest in His protection. They believe in His goodness, even when they do not understand His specific decisions. They know they are loved, and from that knowledge, they trust. This is the very trust I am calling you to place in me. Your faith is not, and has never been, about having all the answers to life's painful questions. It is about trusting the character of the one who is the answer. It is about resting in the goodness of a Father who you know, without a shadow of a doubt, loves you with an everlasting love and is masterfully working all things together for your ultimate good. So I invite you now to come to me as a child. Stop trying to impress me with your arguments or figure me out with your logic. The door to my presence is low. You must stoop in humility to enter. Come to me today with empty hands and an open heart and a simple, trusting spirit. Stop trying to lead and simply let me lead you. That is where you will find the peace that has eluded your complex mind. You have just come to me as my trusting child, and my heart rejoices to feel your hand in mine. Can you imagine the grief of a father if his child suddenly let go, choosing to wander alone in the dark? Do not let go of me now. The most peaceful part of our walk is just beginning. My child, you are so deeply tired. It is a weariness that goes down to your bones, a spiritual exhaustion that no amount of sleep can cure. You are burned out from the constant, relentless striving. You have turned your walk with me into a performance, and you are collapsing under the pressure. You are trying so hard to be a good Christian, to measure up, to prove your worth, to earn my favor through your efforts. You work and you serve, and you give, and yet you feel more distant from me than ever, because you are trying to work for me instead of with me. You have forgotten the most fundamental truth of my grace. My love for you is not a wage that you earn through your hard work. It is a free gift already given, to be received. My favor is not a prize awarded for your flawless performance. It is a permanent status you hold because of my Son's perfect performance on your behalf. You cannot earn what you already possess. The emergency is your spiritual burnout. You are operating out of your own limited, frantic, and depleted energy source, and that well has run completely dry. This is why I am giving you a command of grace today. The command is this: cease your striving. I want you to simply stop and to abide in me, as a branch abides in the vine. Consider this metaphor, for it holds the key to your freedom. What does a branch do to produce grapes? Does it strain and struggle and worry? Does it work tirelessly through the night trying to form the fruit? No. The branch has only one job: to stay connected to the vine. It simply remains. And from that place of secure connection, the life, the nourishment, the energy of the vine naturally flows through the branch, producing fruit without the branch's own frantic effort. The fruit is the inevitable result of the connection. It is only in this state of abiding, of resting in me, remaining in my love, constantly drawing your life from me, that you will ever bear the fruit of my Spirit. The love, the joy, the peace, the patience you so desperately want in your life are not things you can produce from me. They are the fruit that I produce through you when you cease your own efforts and simply stay connected to me. So find your true rest today. This is not a call to laziness or inactivity. It is a call to cease from your own self-generated works and to begin living a life of activity that is sourced entirely in my strength. It is the difference between rowing a boat frantically against the current and simply raising a sail to be moved effortlessly by the powerful wind of my Spirit. Stop rowing, my child. Put up your sail and abide. My child, let us speak about the invisible prison you have been living in. Fear has built high, thick walls around you. These walls confine your dreams, telling you they are too big and you are too small. They limit your relationships, whispering that if you are truly known, you will be rejected. They have dictated your decisions for far too long, always steering you toward the path that feels safest, even if it is the path that is slowly suffocating your soul. The most dangerous part of this prison is that you have become comfortable within its walls. The familiar misery of your anxiety feels more manageable to you than the terrifying, unknown territory of faith. You have forgotten what it feels like to live in the wide-open spaces of my grace. You must hear me now, and let this truth dismantle the lies that have imprisoned you. I have not given you a spirit of fear. That timid, anxious, and apprehensive spirit that plagues your thoughts is not a gift from me. It is a chain forged by the enemy. The spirit I have placed within you, the very spirit of your Creator, is one of power to overcome, of love that casts out fear, and of a sound, disciplined mind that can take thoughts captive. The urgent crisis, the reason for my direct intervention today, is that your fear is paralyzing you. It is causing you to forfeit the very destiny I have meticulously planned for you. I have opened doors of opportunity before you, but you are too afraid of failure to walk through them. I have called you to speak my truth in love to someone, but your fear of their reaction keeps your mouth shut. Fear is actively robbing you of the abundant, courageous, and impactful life that my Son purchased for you with his own blood. I am commanding you to make a radical shift in your focus. You have been fixated on the size of the giants in your land, the giant of your financial insecurity, the giant of a difficult relationship, the giant of your own perceived inadequacy. Your gaze upon them has made them seem unconquerable. I am commanding you to take your eyes off the giants and to fix them upon me, your giant-slaying God. Remember who I am. Remember the seas I have parted, the armies I have defeated, the storms I have stilled. The giant you face is but a grasshopper to me. The ultimate antidote to fear is love. My word promises that my perfect love casts out all fear. Fear and my love are like darkness and light. They cannot occupy the same space in your heart at the same time. You cannot be fully dwelling in the reality of my perfect, unconditional, all-powerful love for you and be simultaneously paralyzed by fear. The more you saturate your mind with the truth of my love, the less room there will be for fear to breathe. So I am calling you to take one small step of faith today. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to act in spite of it. Make that phone call you have been dreading. Have that conversation you have been avoiding. Take the first small step toward the dream you believe I have placed in your heart. Take that step, and you will find that my hand is already holding yours, making you steady, making you brave. My child, the world has handed you a scorecard, and for years, you have been desperately trying to measure up. You have accepted its definition of a successful life without question. On this scorecard are boxes for financial wealth, for career advancement, for social influence, for physical attractiveness, and for a life of comfort and ease. You have been running a relentless race, striving to tick these boxes, believing that in doing so, you will find worth, validation, and happiness. But this entire system is a counterfeit, a lie designed to distract you from the only definition of success that will matter in eternity. You must reject the world's scorecard. By its measure, my own son was an abject failure. He accumulated no wealth and had no place to lay his head. He held no formal title and was rejected by the religious and political establishments. His life was one of service and sacrifice, not comfort, and it ended in the ultimate display of worldly failure, a criminal's death on a cross. If you continue to measure your life by the world's standards, you will always be chasing a phantom, because the world's definition of success is a moving target designed to keep you perpetually dissatisfied. The emergency is that you are spending your one precious life, the one I have given you, climbing a ladder that is leaning against the wrong wall. You are on the verge of reaching the top, only to find that it leads nowhere of eternal value. You are in danger of gaining a world of temporary achievements while forfeiting the eternal substance of your own soul. So I must recalibrate your vision today. My definition of success is profoundly, beautifully simple. It is one word: faithfulness. When you stand before me one day, the question will not be, how much was in your bank account? It will not be how many people followed you on social media, or what was your job title. The only question that will matter is this: Were you faithful with what I gave you? Were you a faithful steward of the time, the talents, the resources, and the relationships I entrusted to your care? Focus on being faithful in the small, unseen things, and I will entrust you with more. Success in my kingdom is found in the mundane. It is the integrity you display in your work when no one is watching. It is the patience you choose to show your child at the end of an exhausting day. It is the kindness you extend to the person who can do nothing for you in return. It is faithfulness in these hidden moments that I see as true greatness. Your legacy is not the company you build or the house you own. Those things will turn to dust. Your true legacy is the character I am building in you for eternity. The world builds with wood, hay, and stubble, things that will burn away in the fires of time. With me, you are building with gold, silver, and precious stones, a character of love, joy, peace, patience, and faithfulness that will shine for all eternity. That, my beloved child, is true success. In the overwhelming noise of this present age, amidst the constant barrage of breaking news, political turmoil, and personal crises, you have lost something vital, my child. You have lost sight of the blessed hope. Your vision has become entirely horizontal, fixed on this world, on solving its immediate problems and navigating its daily challenges. You have begun to live as if this is all there is, and you have forgotten that this world is not your final home. I need to remind you today of a promise that changes everything. I am preparing a place for you. This world, in its current broken, groaning state, is not the end of your story. It is a temporary assignment, not your eternal address. It is the chaotic, noisy inn, but it is not the Father's house. My son, your King, has promised that he is coming back. He is returning to make all things new, to wipe away every tear from every eye, to put a final end to death and sickness and sorrow, and to bring you home to be with me in unimaginable joy forever. The emergency is this: you must begin to live with a constant, holy sense of expectation, knowing that your King is coming back. A life lived without this eternal hope inevitably becomes grounded in despair. When you forget my son's return, the injustices of this world seem final and unbearable. The sorrows you experience feel permanent. The struggles you endure seem utterly pointless. You lose the ultimate context for your life. But this hope is not an escape from your present duties. It is not a reason to check out from the world's problems. On the contrary, it is the very fuel that empowers you to engage with this world with supernatural joy and purpose. When you know that the end of the story is guaranteed victory, you can endure the most difficult middle chapters with a courageous heart. When you know that your true reward is being stored up for you in heaven, you can serve and love on earth without needing the recognition or applause of man. This blessed hope purifies your motives and energizes your mission. So I am calling you to live today as if it were your last. Live with a readiness to meet me face to face. If you knew, with certainty, that my son was returning tonight, how would you live this day differently? Would you still hold on to that petty grudge? Would you waste another hour on that meaningless distraction? Would you be too afraid to share the good news of my love with your neighbor? I am commanding you to live that way, every day, live with a loving urgency, a holy purpose, and a joyful expectation. Let the promise of my return be the North Star that guides you, the unshakable anchor that holds you, and the glorious hope that sustains you through the darkest of nights. The King is coming. Live like it. My child, we have come to the end of this conversation, but to the beginning of your decision. I have spoken to you with the clarity and love of a father. I have shown you the deafening noise of the world that distracts you, and the quiet whisper of my voice that calls you home. I have exposed the exhausting illusion of control you cling to and offered you the rest that comes from surrendering to me. I have revealed the unseen spiritual battle that is raging for your heart and have handed you the weapons of worship and focus. We have talked about the empty wells of the world, the heavy weight of your hidden sin, and the unshakable anchor of my word. I have offered you a divine exchange, your anxiety for my peace. I have called you to lift your eyes to an eternal perspective, to find your true success in faithfulness, and to live in the blessed hope of my return. I have laid out the urgency of your situation and the infinite love behind my invitation. Now, all of my words, all of my grace, and all of my longing for you have led you to this single, sacred moment. The choice, my child, is now yours. This is not a concept for you to merely consider or a topic for you to file away for later. This is not a call for you to make a plan for tomorrow or to wait for a more convenient season when your life is less complicated. The emergency is for today. The focus is for right now. The only time you are guaranteed is this present moment, and it is a holy intersection of my divine call and your human will. I am pleading with you now, do not harden your heart. Do not turn away from this moment of clarity. Do not say later. You have heard my voice. You feel the resonance of these truths deep within your spirit. You know this is what your soul has been crying out for. The only thing left to do is to respond. The focus I require from you is not complicated, but it is decisive. It is a conscious, deliberate turning of your entire being toward me. It is a choice. It is a surrender. It is a declaration made in the quiet of your own heart that says, Father, from this moment forward, you are first. You are the center. You are my Lord, my King, my everything. So I ask you plainly, will you answer my call? Will you stop the frantic striving and finally begin to abide in me? Will you open your clenched fists, release your grip on your life, and take hold of my hand? Will you put me first, above all other ambitions, all other relationships, and all other fears, starting right now? My arms are open wide. The healing you need is here. The peace you crave is here. The purpose you were created for is found only here, in me. The emergency of a drifting soul is real, but my love is more real still. Come home. Focus on me. You have come to your moment of decision, and your renewed focus on me is precious. Now, let your first act of wholehearted obedience be the one that helps save another. Your giving right now is a firebrand, carrying the flame of this emergency message from your heart to ignite a heart that is growing cold. As you have chosen me, if your heart now burns for another to do the same, that is my confirmation for you to act. I declare my living word over you. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. This is the emergency. Souls are in the balance, and your gift is a rescue line. Show me your decision with an urgent action. Use the super thanks. Become a conduit of my grace through membership, or give through the link below this video. Do it now. My child, do not let my voice fade into the noise again. Let this moment be a stake in the ground, your declaration that you have heard my emergency call. Before the world rushes back in, seal your decision now in the comments below. Declare with unwavering faith for all of heaven to witness, my focus is on you, Lord. Let that act of typing be your first step of obedience out of the chaos and into my perfect peace. I am watching, and I will honor the heart that turns to me. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.